Fire me up, baby! Ah! Let's go!
This guy's silky.
Happy Wednesday, CHR enjoyers. This is a Wednesday edition of the show. Justin Lynch, Andrew Nolan on the couch, Natalie Chibi, Tassos Kirkos, Ravens adjusting the camera, and no Lee today. Tim Tebow is actually being taught the ones and twos as well. Okay, so we have some stuff to talk about. We have Mount Rushmores too. We have what did we do? Mount Rushmore of playoff moments. I took the dub in that one. Yep. Spoiler alert. And let's get into it a little bit. Duncan Keith.
Hell yeah, baby. Yeah. Duncan Keith, the Hall of Fame. I think we saw this coming. Even the Monday show, we saw it coming. But no, good for him. First ballot. That's a big deal. They don't just give that to anybody. So I believe the second member of the 2010s Hawks core to be inducted to the Hall of Fame after Marian Hossa. And I reckon we're going to see a few more. I imagine we'll see Kaner and Taze in there. And at least those two. So, yeah, that'll be 4 members from the Hall there. Unless, there might be a couple others you can maybe think about. But those are definitely the for sure. So, yeah, good for Dunks. Definitely well-deserved. And definitely a loaded class this year for sure. Not just Dunks, but Chara's in there, and Joe Thor and Alex Mogilny. He's been waiting for a while, so a few other people too. So, but yeah, I think we're happy for Dunks. Yeah, Chicago runs on Duncan, baby.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, I think his next stop after this, and it should be hopefully announced before the preseason starts, is putting number 2 in the rafters. I think he's 100% deserved it. He now has all the objectives to get his number retired, so I would not be surprised to see that soon. And I think it's well deserved. You look at everything he's done, the Norris Trophy, the Conn Smythe, and he was a mainstay on that blue line for 15, 16 years.
Yep, he's the best defenseman in Blackhawks history, there's no doubt about it. Yeah, 3 cups, 2 Norris trophies, a Conn Smythe, like you said, all the accolades. Probably, you could argue not just best Hawks defenseman of all time, but you would argue maybe the best defenseman of his era, you could say. Definitely up there for sure.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. He walked so Cale Makar could run, as Tassos would say. I know he's made that joke before. Yeah.
Yeah, no, definitely. It is very, very well deserved. Hello, Madhouse Rafters. I'd like to file a claim on behalf of number 2. Honestly, nobody from the Hawks that is eligible is more deserving. He was such a very, very integral player. He did so much for us, and it just, I'm so happy that we got it. We got it.
By the way, I just got to say something. I got to gas myself up here because the chat is noticing the Betsy Kane to Chuck fade here with the racing stripes on the sides. So I'm glad you noticed, chat. Hopefully it doesn't look too terrible. Thought I'd try something new. So in honor of Duncan Keith, obviously, being inducted to the Hall, I feel like I had to do something special today. So there you go.
It was the first thing I noticed when you walked in this morning, and it looks very clean. I will say that.
Oh, thank you, Nolan. I really appreciate that. That means a lot. But I agree. I think Dunks will be the next number to go to the UC Rafters, number 2. I don't know if it's going to be this season, though. I did read the Scott Powers Athletic article today, and he made it sound like the Hawks won't be doing anything like that this year because they have the centennial season going on, so there's going to be a lot of stuff like that going on this year. But I imagine during the 26-27 season, we'll see 2 up in the rafters, and that'll be a nice little moment. Hopefully we'll see Seabrook up there, too, hopefully after that, in addition to Chelios' 7. But I believe Keith is also the 48th Hawk to be inducted to the Hall of Fame. That's just somebody who's played for the Hawks, too. Doesn't mean all 48 of those guys were mainly Blackhawks, but I gotta imagine that's up there in terms of teams who have a representation. So good to get another Hawk in the Hall. Following up Ronick last year, and we'll definitely see quite a few more. For
and
sure.
There will be a lot more. You just think of not only just the mainstay Hawks, but like you look at a guy like Marc-Andre Fleury as well, who stopped here for what, half a season. He will be
legend.
Yes, Blackhawks legend. He will 100% be in the Hall as well.
Yeah, and Connor Bedard too, right?
Yeah, one can only hope.
Yeah, maybe 25 years from now. Yeah, first ballot. Yeah,
absolutely.
We'll see. Yeah.
I think they should retire his number next season. I know that they're not going to, but it would be cool to do it like he gets inducted into the Hall of Fame and then they retire the number. I think that would be a pretty nice thing to do. It's nice to spread it out too, spread the love a little bit.
Yeah.
Also, I like that's not a joke when I say that Duncan Keith walked so Cale Makar could run. I know they're different players, but like some of like the skating, the edge work, the
mechanics,
the shiftiness at the blue line, the shimmies, and Duncan Keith had some of that in his bag, and maybe not to the level that Cale did, obviously, or does, but it's cool to recognize that. And in a very loaded draft class, McGillney and Joe Thornton, which did you guys see the clip of Joe Thornton?
His reaction to that? Yeah, that was pretty
awesome.
Amusing.
He's like, holy Franny, that's, holy doodle. That's so
I've
funny.
never heard that usage before, used like that, but only Jumbo Joe, man, he's quite a character. Good to see him in the Hall as well. Probably the best player in the Hall of Fame to never win a cup. Up there,
Marcel Dion,
there's
some guys,
yeah,
I would,
for sure.
Joe Thornton, is definitely up there. Jerome McGinley is one of my, personal favorites. But in a very loaded draft class, Duncan Keith might be the best player.
I think so.
Yeah.
And that's saying something because you got Chara in there as well, like you said, and Thornton and McGillney, who's been waiting forever. Good to see him finally get in. It was getting to a point where I don't know if we ever thought he was going to get in. So good to see him get his due. 90s Russian sensation. I believe he had a 76-goal season or something like that back in the day, which is just crazy to think about in the 90s. So, but yeah, I would argue Keith, bias aside, I still think he is the best member of this class and definitely one of the best defensive of his generation. I think you see a lot of his skating with Makar. I believe when he was a kid, he actually figure skated, and that's kind of where he got a lot of those mechanics. He always had a bit of a jump in his step when he played, especially kind of transitioning from forwards to backwards, stuff like that. He always had a bit of a jump. So that first step is so important as a defenseman. You could always see it with him in the breakouts and things like that. It's just crazy to think, man. We had Keith, Seabrook, Hjalmarsson. Like we had just a trio of just an absolute dogs to go through in that blue line there. That D-core is absolutely loaded in the 2010s, and I think you can kind of see Kyle sort of trying to build something like that with this core, but hopefully it works out there. But it's gonna be tough to beat that core three there. That was something.
Yeah, absolutely unbeatable. Yeah,
for sure.
Agree.
Yeah, no, they were just dominant. It's also another crazy thing to think. Most teams, Duncan Keith, like prime Duncan Keith, would be your best player. Those Hawks teams were so loaded. He was probably the third best player in that team after Kane Taves. You could argue even Hossa up there, right? I mean, it just shows you how good those Hawks teams were. Just absolutely loaded, and yeah, good to see a legend get his due.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, you look at the top three right there. They all won Conn Smythes: Taves, Kane, and then Keith.
Yeah, exactly. They all got their Conn Smythe. I think even Mark Lazarus said it, like that 2015 playoff run from Keith among one of the top performances we've ever seen from a defenseman, especially in the playoffs. Like what he's able to do that year, absolutely unreal. And yeah, we did see Cale Makar win his Conn Smythe too. So there we go again. Tassos might be onto something there. So yeah.
Okay, so just for everybody's sanity and for mine, a little bit of a breakdown. So we're going to do a little bit of draft talk, and there's a lot of movement going up until Friday. Vander Kane just got dealt to the Canucks. We'll get into that a little bit later too. Reminder once again that we are live streaming Friday night, Friday evening, 6 p.m. Chicago time.
Yep, that's
6
right.
p.m. Chicago.
6 p.m. Central time. We'll probably be live maybe 5-10 minutes before then. Look out for that. That's going to be one of our last streams of the year. If not the last stream of the year, but I think we're going to do the 24-hour one. But more news on that at a different time. Awaiting the loser of the Mount Rushmore, although, we'll see. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about
figure that
after.
out.
We'll talk about that after. But this might have been the clinching. This might have been the clinching one right here for last place. But so we'll talk about all that. But stream on Friday is going to be really important and really good. And I do want to get into that. Can be how we transition into some more Hawks talk and a little bit of the draft here. I was kind of screwing around saying maybe the Hawks trade up for one. Matthew Schaefer looks like a really good kid.
I don't think the Islanders are going to do that.
Well, no, one of the articles on NHL.com is like the Islanders are not trading the.
No, they're not doing the pick. There's been a lot of smoke around that, but I think the Islanders they're not going to budget that pick there. But yeah, I think overall in general, the draft is approaching this Friday. It's hard to believe it's only 3 days away now. And how about you guys? I'm nervous. I don't know if I can recall a draft where I've been more nervous than this one because it feels like there's a lot of uncertainty with this one. And it does, I've said before, reminds me a lot of 2019 where it kind of feels like the Hawks sort of will start this draft, if that makes sense. I mean, it feels like Schaefer is all but confirmed to be the number one pick. Number 2 down is a mystery. I will say number 2 down, not number 3 down, because, I mean, it does seem like there is the possibility, maybe it's delusion, but there does seem like there's a chance at least, so you're saying there's a chance, that Michael Misa could drop to 3. We might not even have to trade up. He could just be there. The Sharks seems like they might like Frundell quite a bit, which I think if you're Mike Greer, that's the obvious pick there. I mean, Anton Frundell, he's just such a talent, man. I think he's probably the greatest thing since sliced bread. Clearly the best forward in this draft class. So if I were the Sharks GM, I think Frundell would be the clear pick. I think to pair him with Celebrini and Will Smith, he'd be crazy to pass that up. He clearly clears Michael Misa, right? I think we all agree on that.
Yeah, I think on behalf of the pod and behalf of all Sharks Nation, I think Frondell is the pick it too.
Clearly, I mean, as a
100%.
Sharks fan, I'm really hoping that we go for Frundell. I think he's exactly what this team is missing. And if you haven't picked up on it, I've noticed that Hawks Twitter, there's been a lot of Hawks people who've been kind of going undercover as Sharks fans and who've been glazing Frundell. So I'd like to join in. On that.
Yeah, absolutely. Welcome on board.
Absolutely. What's the nickname for Frundell that you keep saying over there?
Frondell Friday.
Frundell Friday. Yeah, there you go.
And it's approaching here for Sharks Nation, so we're gonna have a lot of fun on Friday. I don't know if the Hawks are gonna have one for Friday now because who knows if they got Frondell. I think we got to change it now to what, Frank the Tank Friday?
Or Misa Monday.
Yeah, Misa Monday. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I like that. I like that very much.
Yeah, no, I wanted to talk about that absolutely. Just the fact of you look at 2023. Fantilli was looking like the second overall pick the entire year, essentially.
I was just going to say that, yeah.
Yeah, and then at the last bit, they switched from Carlson, who was the third-ranked guy, who got selected second, and then Fantilli went third. And then you look at, 2022, where Shane Wright was the consensus number 1 guy all throughout, and then they went with Uri Slafkovsky at 1.
Right.
And he slipped to 4. So I think there's definitely a possibility that we could see Michael Misa fall out of the top 2.
And even last year, right, from 3 teams passed up Ivan Demidov, who probably most people look at as the second best forward in his draft class after Celebrini. Some may even argue 1.
Yeah.
Right? Obviously, Seneca was a surprise at 3, and then Lindstrom at 4, and Demidov fell in the Habs' laps at 5. So I don't think it's crazy to think that the best forward in this draft class could fall to 3 of the Hawks.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you never know. It's definitely possible. I can't wait to get my hopes up and then get disappointed on Friday.
Yeah,
But even the betting, I mean, you're a big betting odds guy. I know if Lee were here, you'd be hyping up the betting odds. If you check, Misa and Frundell are close. Misa is still the favorite at 2, and Frundell is still the favorite at 3, but it's really close.
Yeah, so at one point last week, or one point on Monday, actually, Misa was the favorite to go number 3.
Yeah, it's dropped a bit since.
Yeah, so, I mean, looking at, what was it? I think it was last Monday, Michael Misa was minus 2,500. So you had to bet $2,500 to win $100, which, I mean, it's pretty good in gambling odds, I'd say. Not for value, but just for, being a favorite. And then I looked at it this morning, and Michael Misa is all the way down to, what, I think it's minus 250 to go number 2. So,
Something
I mean,
like that,
that's a huge difference right there.
That's a big jump. I'm not a gambling expert like you and Lee, but even I can realize that's a pretty big deal.
Yeah, absolutely.
They must know something there.
Yeah.
Maybe. We'll see. Yeah. I hope so, man.
Don't let me get my hopes up.
I know. It's like, of course, this is coming at just the right time where it's like I was starting to kind of accept Frundell at 3, and now it's like, well, shit, man.
now you're reeling me back in. Yeah.
I know. It's like, could you imagine, man? Could you imagine? Oh, Misa would just be absolutely perfect.
I mean,
for this team.
these next 3 days are going to feel like 3 months.
I know. Just the build up to this trap, it feels like it's been forever, man. I'm just kind of ready for it to be here and to be over, honestly. We've been speculating. There's been so much rumors the past few weeks, few days. days, and I think I'm just ready to see it come to fruition here. Right? I think it's going to be a pretty chaotic draft, which is saying something because a lot of people are saying it's actually one of the weaker drafts, and yet it seems like it might be a draft where we see quite a bit more action. But it kind of feels like they say that every year, though. So we'll see. We'll see if it actually happens. If we see some trades, that'd be kind of fun. See some movement.
I want to see fireworks. That's all I want to see. I just want to see fireworks for the entertainment.
In terms of the Blackhawks, though, because I know there's been a lot of speculation around that, Frank Serve always seems to think that they're going to stay put, that they're going to stand pat at 3, and pretty much everything I'm seeing saying Frundell won't drop out of the top 3. So it's going to be either Misa or Frundell, like 95% probably. Yeah.
So I know you were kidding, but that is a prevailing sentiment among a lot of people in and around this draft, is that there is a boom bust potential with Anton Frundell, that you don't want to be the team that didn't take that kid. But you know, there is like, is he Sasha Barkov or is he Elias Pettersson? You know what I mean? Like, is he the guy that, you know what I'm saying? You all know what I'm saying. So what is he going to be? You know, so I get it. I want to pose this. I brought it up to Andrew before the show. We were talking a little bit. I watched last night. ESPN did a inside the prospects or something, you know, where they touched on, you know, they did like Schaefer and Misa and
the Welcome to
Porter
NHL series. Those have been fun.
Yeah. So it was good. I watched that, and I was watching it with a buddy, and he just brought up the fact, and this is, you know, we can take this into an overall larger Hawks conversation, just that they look very young, you know, and that they're, you know, that we have to keep in mind that, you know, I'm really high on Schaefer after some of the stuff I've been watching. We sat, and you guys had already watched it, but Nat and I watched half of it for the first time. The Sportsnet thing that they did for Schaefer, like, he just seems like a slam dunk first overall pick.
Just a step ahead of the pack.
And there's no guarantee that he's going to play in the National Hockey League next year.
They're all 17-year-olds.
Like,
they're kids, 18-year-olds.
But even in this draft, like, there's no guarantee that Schaefer or Misa, or especially Frundell's not playing in the NHL next year. Like, you know, maybe there's a chance. Like,
I'd say
Barkov did play
probably
in the NHL.
has the best shot of playing in the NHL next year. Schaefer, it's like if he played a full season, but just the fact that he missed the full year, it's hard to imagine him jumping right in the NHL. He definitely has the talent to do so, but I just say that'd be a pretty steep jump there. But I'd say there probably won't be another forward besides Misa who could probably take the step. Yeah.
So then it becomes a conversation of, you know, sure, the Hawks aren't going to trade the pick, but why not? Like, why, you know, like, why not trade the pick? Why not, you know, what is the expected competitive timeline here? Like, what is everybody's expectations? What should be the expectations for this group? You know, if Michael Misa, if they get Michael Misa even at 3 and he doesn't play in the NHL, or, you know, like, he's not going to step in and dominate the NHL next year. Like, that's not happening. Like,
Steven Ellis seemed to think that he could.
I don't know, dude. I think that's a very big stretch. But
I think he could be in the NHL. Why not? Maybe not dominate, but I think he could be an effective piece next year.
You know, and so I'm watching it with a friend, right? And I'm trying to hype it up to him. I'm like, oh, they're gonna get like a top 3 pick. Like, one of these kids is gonna be really good. They've already got.
You got to be patient. You got to wait.
You know, you're gonna have to be patient.
Yeah.
My friend replied. He goes, well, what, you know, he's like, isn't the gap between the Blackhawks and Florida like really big though? You know?
Oh, it's astronomical, yeah.
And if you think about it, pound for pound, player for player, the gap between those two groups is so big, you know? And how do you get there? You know, like, obviously
there's a waiting game right now because, like, obviously not all the top guns, not all the prospects who's drafted have made it yet, but not all of them are going to make it. So for those of them you don't feel confident, how can you kind of transfer them for assets that can help you now?
But like, how, you know, but you have to make these decisions like soon. You know?
You can't play a waiting game. Yeah.
You know, eventually those pieces are going to have no value.
Exactly.
You know? Kevin Korchinski, I think if you wait another year on this, and this is like a next summer kind of discussion that we're having, it's his value is maybe half of what it is right now.
Well, I think you're seeing that right now with your boy Lucas Reichel, where it's like I wouldn't trade him right now because I just don't think he really has much value to begin with at the moment. And I think if you were to wait on Korchinski, that could be a similar factor, where it's like, well, if you stick with this guy long enough, you may as well just keep him because you're not going to get much back in return. You've already kept that faith. So I think that's why. I know it's tough to part with a young player like that, but that's probably the one guy you could look at in this prospect pool you feel, somewhat okay with parting with, who can get you assets to help your team right now, right? Yeah, who has that trade value? So there is a discussion there. I know the Hawks at least have been in talks with. They've thought about it in terms of trading the number 3 pick. I know Frank Sarvalli put out this report that they were kind of circling on JJ Peterka, but those talks never really got anywhere, so it's not going to happen. But they've at least been discussions about the number 3 pick. But I'd assume at this point, if the draft being this close, that they're probably going to stick at their guns at this rate.
What about I brought this one up. Would you trade it to the Islanders for Matt Barzal?
The number 3?
Yeah.
If Mies is not there, I would.
But what if here's the thing though, if you make that trade now, then what if Misa drops to 3? You're gonna feel like an idiot.
He might drop to 4 if they do that. They may pick Higgins at 3.
I wouldn't part with the number 3 pick. I keep it.
Really?
Yeah.
For Matt Barzal? See, that's where I disagree, because it's like, let's get some players in here, man.
I don't know. It's just like then you spend this whole year tanking and sucking. You get a top 3 pick, you're not going to use it. I don't know. That just seems a bit. You just don't see trades at the top of the draft like that very often for a reason, right? I think every year people say, "Oh, it might happen this year," but I wouldn't surprise if after all this talk that absolutely no movement happens on a Friday. But we'll see. At least at the top of the draft. So even if it's not Misa though, it's like, man, you don't know what Frundell is going to be. You don't know what Martone is going to be, right? You don't know what Higgins is going to be. Even though the Hawks don't really seem to be circling him on him at all. But yeah, I just think that's a pick I just wouldn't part from it at this stage of where we are. I don't think we're there yet. Yeah.
Would you mind if I circle back to the Barzal point real quick?
Yeah,
I think a big thing with Barzal is he's been injured the past couple of seasons, so there's a little bit of a question there. Yeah. And I mean, you look at it from both sides. You see that side, but you also see the side of the Islanders where they don't play offensive hockey. They play a more defensive style of hockey. So I think with Barzal, you don't trade him for 3 straight up. I think that would be a little bit of lost value, just in my opinion personally. But I do like the idea of trying to get Matt Barzal for something. I don't know how much it's going to cost, but I would not do 1-for-1.
And that's the thing about the Panthers, right? They bought low on Sam Bennett. They bought low on Sam Reinhart. They bought low, they
Seth
got
Jones.
Yeah, kind of, not really, but they got Forsling off of waivers. They got. They're
opportunistic.
It shows that there are ways,
and they acquire players in different ways.
That don't cost a bunch of assets.
Fair. Yeah.
Some of these proposals for JJ Peterka I've seen are crazy net, absolute lunacy, and some of them involve the Hawks. And I'm like, you can't get JJ Peterka for Kevin Korchinski in the 24th pick, And even that's a little much, I feel.
I that feels a little, agree with that.
Pricey on my end. But if he's an NHL player and Nick Foligno's not, hardly, I don't know. Let's swap some of these guys in, and I don't know.
I agree with Skokes in the chat. He says it just feels like KD is settling with Frundell rather than drafting for superstar potential of Higgins or Martone, not loving his draft philosophy. Yeah, I would agree with that. At Frundell, it's like he just seems super boomer bust. So, but yeah, maybe that's kind of what he's going for. He's kind of being able to take that risk on him. Yeah, but that's a tough one though. I mean, I've been watching a lot more Frundell tape, just trying to accept it, right, and just kind of warm myself up to him. And I could definitely see the logic for why you take him at 3, but. It still wouldn't be my pick. Even if it's me, I'd rather take Martone or Higgins. But I'm not Kyle from Chicago. Yeah.
None of us are. We're just people behind a microphone.
Exactly. Yep. Yeah, that's all. We can just hope. We can just pray and put that out there and hope it might land.
Yeah. The meme on Twitter, stun on these fellas. Kyle Davidson. That's what we need.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But I see your point, though. I did like Lee's proposal involving Peterka, where you swap the 3 and 9 with Buffalo, and then it's Reichel and Peterka. I think that something like that would be interesting. But at this point, I think that ship has probably sailed. Yeah, Peterka probably out of Buffalo. But I don't know if it's going to be to the Hawks, because I think they probably want a player like him in return, but we just don't really have that. So, but if they're looking for that, then why wouldn't you just keep him? But the Buffalo Sabres make no sense, man. I don't even understand why they're shopping this guy to begin with.
Are we doing
I
this
guess
now?
because Peterka
Yeah, why
probably
not?
does he not want to does he just not see his future there or something? Like I don't because why would you trade a guy like that? I don't understand.
Okay, so
Yeah.
I thought maybe we would save this for the second hour.
Oh, we can save it,
well,
yeah.
no, let's
Yeah.
do it. Let's
All
do
right,
it.
yeah.
Because Kevin Adams had a really weird press conference yesterday. It was like a pre-draft thing. I want to get with who he did it with, too, who the other guy was in that press conference. But it was very weird. He made some comments. You have this clip pulled up, right?
Yes, I do. I'm just trying to teach Tim Tebow at the same time, so that's why I was talking.
I'll keep going. Very weird press conference. Very weird comment. The gist of the comment, and you'll hear him say it himself, is, I feel bad for our fans.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks.
So there was a report out there. That they were going to buy out Matthias Samuelsson. There were talks that was out there, and the prelude to the clip that we're going to play, like he goes on before saying that like he has PR people coming to him every morning, like, putting Instagram posts in front of him saying that, they're going to buy out Matthias Samuelsson, which is, according to Kevin Adams, a conversation that they've never had. And essentially the reporter asks, like, are you going to trade JJ Peterka? He skirts around the question, and then the reporter doubles down, and he's like, well, are you going to trade JJ Peterka? And he goes, we're not buying out Matthias Samuelsson, but I don't know. He's like, he just left
the question.
He left it super open-ended on JJ Peterka.
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing. We can get into, I do want to play the clip. I want to talk about Buffalo because
They're a dumpster.
They're a dumpster fire.
Yeah.
Tage Thompson went on Cam and Strick last week and said that when he got run over by, who was it on the Devils, that nobody...
Oh, I recall that.
who
And
you're
nobody
talking about.
stepped
Yeah, I
up.
did
Nobody
see
came
that.
to his
Nobody
defense. It's a culture problem there. I think that's just, you look at a team like Buffalo, and that's exactly what you want to avoid becoming.
But you know what, like, the problem with trading JJ Peterka... Let's play the clip first. Let's play it first.
If I'm being honest, like, I feel bad for our fans.
Oh, that's it. That
this was the 5-second clip I found on Twitter.
Yeah. So if you're trading JJ Peterka, the goal apparently from Kevin Adams seems to be, okay, well, let's trade JJ Peterka and get NHL players back. That's not going to happen. You're going to get like draft picks and stuff like that. You're not going to keep your job if you're Kevin Adams.
I don't understand how he still has his job. This guy's just not good.
Do you know how the Sabres are going to get better next year?
They're not going to get better.
But do you know how they would?
Just by sticking with this core.
How about keeping JJ Peterka?
Yes, that's what I was saying. I don't understand why you trade this guy.
What do you have? 67 points last year. I mean,
it's 68. Like, this is a core guy right here. Why would you? And the Sabres have done this in their whole existence. Look at Sam Reinhart, who just won a cup with we went back-to-back
Jack
cups
Eichel.
with the Panthers. Jack Eichel, right? All the guys in that team have won cups. Like, they had something there, and they got rid of it. And they just go through this cycle of drafting guys, then letting go of them, and just the cycle repeats itself. And that's just a cautionary tale for something you want to avoid becoming.
And frankly, if he wants out and he doesn't sign, you know what you do?
What's that?
Okay, sit out. Like, tell him to sit out. Like,
pull a William Nylander.
Sit out.
boy.
You don't want to play here? Sit out. Fine. Cool. Don't play.
I'm just
I
going
don't know.
to
We don't have
force
to trade you.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. So the whole thing about Kevin Adams was this was Terry Pagula's guy. He groomed Kevin Adams to be the GM of the Buffalo Sabres. And for those of you that don't know a whole lot about like Buffalo sports and the Sabres, and when Terry Pagula bought the Buffalo Bills, the attention that he started to put on the Sabres plummeted. Like the just the effort and the care, and that, look, it makes sense. They're the Buffalo Bills. They got Josh Allen. They're a Super Bowl contender pretty much every year. They're building a new stadium in Buffalo for the Bills. I would pay attention to it
Sabres
too.
have kind of been forgotten about, lost in the shuffle.
Yes.
Yeah.
And,
you can see it. Yeah.
And Kevin Adams, who was supposed to be the guy, like this was Terry Pagula's guy, has shown himself over 5 years.
He just can't do the job.
He can't do it.
No. I mean, look at the Sabres have promise, man. It looked like when he took over, it looked like this team was going to take that step. Even a couple of years ago, 2023, it looks like they're in the midst of taking that step, and it's just been downhill from there, man. They've never been able to get over the hump, and just getting rid of a lot of assets that have done well elsewhere, and just been this process of the drafting guys and letting them go, and it's been 14 years of this now. I mean, obviously, it's not just Kevin Adams, but 5 years of him, and I'm surprised he still has a job there, and I reckon probably won't have that for much longer at this rate. More clips like that, I'm sure, will lead to his departure. Yeah.
Well, remember he made comments earlier in the year. This was maybe
the palm trees.
Yeah.
Well,
What are you doing? Of course you don't palm trees. Like,
yeah, but this is worse than that, dude. It's like I feel bad for our fans. If Kyle from Chicago, like when he said in a press conference that he feels bad for Hawks fans, like I'd be calling for his head on a stake, man. I'd be like, "You're out of here." So yeah, I can't imagine that. He gotta think that his seat's getting hotter at this stage if it isn't already. Yeah,
it feels bad for Sabres fans because of the job he's
Sabres
doing.
His misdoings, yes.
I feel bad for them too, but we're allowed to say it, not him. I mean, he's kind of the reason that they're in this situation. So that's kind of him admitting that, being a fault there. And I'd be tearing him alive if I were a Sabres fan. Yeah, that's a shame.
I will say this though, to play devil's advocate, Kevin Adams did graduate out of Miami, so I'm rooting for him. But I don't know if the results are there. I think this seat is hot, and I would not be surprised if January 1st he doesn't have a job.
I don't think that Nolan connection is going to save him. But we'll see. Maybe that's all they need. Oh, we got Nolan's vote approval. All right, here's your extension. Extend Kevin Adams.
I mean, you just look at the Sabres and you just think absolute disaster class.
Absolute ass.
Of course. Yeah. Like, not going to lie, this team is just so ass. But, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that needs to change over there, like culture, the staff. I mean, it's just like you don't want to be there. Mm-hmm. And like I know we were saying a couple days ago, like imagine if Kane went there. Like that is not an organization that I would want my Patrick Kane to go to at all. Absolutely not.
That's a career-ending decision
right there. Going up to that take, that was a terrible take. That I'll rework that.
Not even Patrick Kane could save that franchise.
Right, exactly.
Hate to say it. Yeah, and I think if he didn't see that, like I'm sure the part of him, a childhood part of him, probably thought about it for sure. Obviously, Sabres fan growing up. I always think of that hockey card. Was it the Turgeon hockey card that he was on in the background of his dad? Front row. It's such an iconic card. Obviously, a big Sabres fan growing up, but even he doesn't have. That's not enough. The childhood nostalgia is enough to overlook just the disaster that franchise is in right now, and that's just not a place you want to end your career. I'm sure he wants to go off another championship on his terms, and he's not going to get that in Buffalo. So
I don't think he get in Detroit either, but he's going back to Detroit.
Like they're in the mix. Like he's got more connections there too. Obviously in the Michigan area, he played a lot of AAA hockey there with the Honey Baked organization. I think for Beak, right, he was like his whatchamacallit, Billet family, right? So he has connections to the Michigan area as well, Detroit, and obviously his son loves it there, and his connection to Cat. Like there's a lot of things to like. It's the Red Wings, the original Six franchise. Like a lot of good things to like about Detroit. Buffalo, there's nothing. There's absolutely nothing outside the fact that he was born there. There's no reason to go there. For Tays, right, his hometown, the Jets are in a good situation. They're a cup team. Like for him, it makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I hate saying and giving kudos to Detroit, but like I mean, like you said, Cat, PK3, and Cat's kid.
They've embraced him.
It's such a good like place for that specifically. Like I mean, PK3 is having the time of his life over there.
And Archie.
Oh yeah.
The PK Patrick Kane III, Archie DeBrincat connection.
It's gonna go crazy in like 2040.
Hopefully for the Hawks, not for the Red Wings, right?
Oh, of course. I mean, come on, hello. That's the only obvious choice. But I mean, that would be electric.
I will say it pains me that Patrick Kane's son is going to have all these childhood memories of his father playing hockey for the Detroit Red Wings and not the Chicago Blackhawks, where he was. They just don't know, man. They just don't know how this guy was at the Hawks, and that's pretty painful. Yeah.
Man.
Exactly.
PK3, remember where you came from. Remember who started to raise you. Just do not fall for it. It's propaganda.
Yeah. Remember who you are, Simba.
Yes.
Third overall pick for Bowen Byram and JJ Peterka.
Oh, okay. Now you got my attention for both of them.
Both of them.
I'd make that deal.
You think Buffalo would?
No, because they're. Well, actually, Buffalo. Yeah, I think Buffalo. They're probably stupid enough. Well, no, but if they weren't going to do it for Peterka, they're not going to do it for. No, they're not going to do that. No.
What do you mean they weren't going to do it for Peterka? You think
Frank
Blackhawks.
Serve always said they've been having discussions about the number 3 pick of Peterka. They haven't gone anywhere, so I'm not sure if you add Byron in the mix if that's going to change their mind.
A top, like Peterka for 3.
That's what Serve always said.
That's craziness, dude.
I mean, I know.
I
but
wouldn't take that if I were the Sabre,
Yeah.
or if I were the Hawk. Yeah,
If I were the
well,
Hawks, I feel like it makes more sense for the Hawks and the Sabres. For the Sabres, it's like you're just caught in the same cycle, getting rid of young, promising players who are going to flourish elsewhere. Why
I
would
would
you do
trade
that?
JJ Peterka for the 3rd overall pick.
1 for 1.
And then the same things.
If I were the Sabres, I'd be like, get out
for
of
the
here.
Sabres,
You,
yeah,
you know what's
absolutely.
going to happen? They're gonna draft this guy at number 3, and then the same cycle is going to repeat itself. He's going to show promise in
Maybe.
Buffalo. The first couple of years, he's going to get fed up of not making the playoffs, not going anywhere. They're going to trade him for another top. Like this, Buffalo's been caught in this cycle for years now. You know, it's like you can't be trading these guys.
Well,
But
then let's play poach guys off Buffalo. Like, is there? I would love, like, if there's a way to get Tage Thompson or Owen Power out of Buffalo and get them here to Chicago, now we're talking.
I saw a YouTube video of Owen Power like wearing a Hawks shirt. He was like taping a stick or something when he was a kid. Maybe that's his. Maybe he always wanted to be a Hawks guy. He did play for the Chicago Steel, so he has that Chicago connection there. Yeah,
I don't know.
Maybe something to think about. Yeah.
Is there a way that I think the Sabres are a mess that is worth studying and
Zach
you know,
Benson.
yeah. And the media there is tough.
Yuri Kulik. I'm pretty big on Yuri Kulik. Not saying that he would be a sweetener into this
I'm sure
number
that
3 hypothetical.
I'm sure that was worth Sam Reinhart, right?
Yeah, that's the thing with
Yuri
Buffalo.
Kulik and Devin Levi are worth Sam Reinhart.
Yeah,
now they
that's
got a
worked out
backup
wonderful for
goalie
them.
and bottom 6 forward right now.
Yikes.
That's worked out great for them. But it's like, yeah, they have pieces here, man. It's like I think it's just an overarching culture problem there. Yeah. It's just a losing mentality.
I think the one person I just feel bad for is Rasmus Dahlin. I think Rasmus Dahlin has been. I think if you put him on any other team, you put him with a competent right-handed defenseman that I don't believe Buffalo
That's
has.
a Norris winning.
Yeah, that
defenseman.
is. That's a top
Yeah.
3 defenseman in the league. You put him up there with Hughes and McCarr.
Oh, yeah.
If you put him on any other team with a competent right-handed defenseman.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Yeah, for sure. He could be the next Lidstrom elsewhere. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember they say they had the potential when he was drafted. So, and he's shown flashes of it, but in Buffalo, there's only so much you can do, right?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, you're kind of spelled for disaster there. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Okay.
There's some, let's say, some other Hawk stuff we could probably get into here.
Sure.
Nothing really shocking here, but Frank Cervalli did say yesterday that Phil Kurashev is now expected to receive a qualifying offer. He will become a UFA. Nothing really surprising there. I think we all saw that coming. Phil the Thrill will get ready to learn Chinese, and I just think it's crazy what Bedard was able to do for this guy's rookie year, and then just fell off a cliff without him this past season. So it's a shame to see that. Thought he could have been a guy here, and unfortunately, won't quite work out there.
One quick point. There was a note about this with that like with the cap rising, there's not a lot of players that
It's
are
like 3
getting,
guys. I think it was Kostin, Kurashev, and
Cody
who was
Glass.
Cody
Cody
Glass. Yeah, that's it.
and
Yeah.
so like to not get qualified is rough.
Yeah,
all I had to
that's rock bottom is what that is. But I didn't really see it after his past season. It was so bad where it's like you wouldn't even bank on him finding his form from the previous season. He was a Betsy merchant, unfortunately.
I think everyone talking about Lucas Reichel going up to Edmonton. I think Philip Kurashev finds his way to Edmonton somehow, some way, because he was a Stan Bowman pick back in 2020.
Bowman loves his draft picks.
Yeah, Bowman loves his draft.
He
picks.
loves bringing
He
them
loves-
back.
Yeah, he loves bringing him back. So I would not be surprised if he signed a league man to try and play middle 6 forward for the Oilers.
He'll just be added to that rotation of random middle 6 wingers who play with McDavid and Draisaitl.
Kasperi
He's the
Kapanen,
next
Vasily
captain and
Podkolzin.
Podkolzin,
Yeah.
Kurashev. You're right. That is such an Edmonton Oilers player, Phil Kurashev.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh, man.
honestly, I feel like his downfall needs to be studied.
In
because-
universities,
Because people were on this guy. They were like, oh my God, Philip Kurashev, he's great.
Yeah.
Like, he's, like you said, a Betsy merchant. But honestly, it made him look good on paper.
Yeah.
And they were saying, oh, I would take Kurashev over Reichel any day of the week. Well, how did that turn out? Literally, like, how did that turn out? Like, obviously, Reichel has had his moments, right? Everybody's, like, saying he needs to step up. But this entire time, where was Kurashev this entire year?
What happened?
What happened to him? Like, I mean, I was watching him in his prime with us, and I was like, yeah, this guy's got it. He's got it. He's a playmaker. He and Bedsy work very, very well together. And then it just, like, he never played, and I was like, where did this guy go? Like, did he just disappear? Like, what does he even do?
Yeah, like he was just existing out there.
He got
Like,
into the
he was
shower
just
room,
getting
just
his cardio in. He was like Tony Snell. Like he was just running around out there, making
skating
absolutely
team.
no impact on the game whatsoever.
He got sent to the shadow realm with Laurent Brossoit and TJ Brody.
He really was. Like we hardly even saw him like the last 2 months of the season when all the youth Hawks came up. So it is a shame, right? Because this is a guy at one point thought could be a top 6. You know,
I mean, he was a
piece for the
50-point
Hawks.
player just 2 seasons ago.
Yep.
I do find it weird though. It's like, okay, you know this guy plays well Bedard, and like the Hawks just didn't do that like at all. Like he maybe played like a game or two at Bedsy, a couple moments. That was it. Like it's like, okay, if you know this guy only plays well Bedard, why not just play him with Bedard then? Like we went through this like 50 like different line combination rotation last year, but it's like you have a guy right here if you know he has chemistry with. I don't understand why they just they tried to make Kershaw like this bottom 6 player when he isn't. But anyway, it is what it is. He will. We'll see if he can get going elsewhere. But probably a future Swiss League legend, I'd imagine for Kershaw. Yeah.
I mean, also too, like Philip Kershaw woke up, saw his Apple Watch or whatever, and said, "Oh my gosh, I have only 2,000 steps today. Might as well just go out there and get the rest of them back."
He was
10,000.
getting his exercise in.
Exactly. But also, I feel like that's another reason that the Hawks were not consistent and were so bad last year, was because the lines were never ever consistent. And it was really painful to see. And like, I could imagine being Connor Bedard in that situation. Like, who am I going to play with today?
Yeah.
Like, you have so many new people on this team. You bring back Tara Vinen, you bring back everybody, and you get all these new people. And you're trying to build connections. You're trying to build very strong and solid lines that can actually produce something. And I feel like that's where this team went wrong last year. There was no consistency about anything in regards to the lines, except for maybe Bedard and Donato, like on that line, which honestly I really, really liked, and I really hope it continues, and I think it will. But they needed to be consistent, and that just was not it. So I'm hoping under this new coaching staff, we see more of that consistency, so on-ice relationships could get built and they start producing.
I think it was Greg Boyce that said it's like if you're a forward, like you want like one guy like in your lineup that's pretty consistent on a night-to-night basis, right? A guy you can form chemistry with, those connections, like you said. I always like doing that too, like when the Bedard insert player here connection delivers, exactly. And the third guy can kind of rotate in and out. Like the third guy he can kind of slide in wherever. So, but I think if you're Bedsy, I think it was rookie year, like he knew he had Kershaw on a nightly basis, but like last year, like his flanks were different every single night. So I just hope we don't repeat that again next year. Whether it's Donato or Nazar or whoever ends up being, like just have somebody just consistently stapled to his line. A third guy can rotate. But so yeah, hopefully we see more consistent, line mates and stuff like that, connections, combos from Blast Show moving forward. Yeah, that's
it was just painful to watch. Like, I mean, you get like all of these people coming in, and you get people on the top line, the first line, that don't deserve to be on the first line, and you're just watching an absolute disaster class happen right
Nobody
in front
could build
of your
chemistry
eyes.
with each other.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, and how were they able to when everything kept changing? Like, I get it. You want to give other people who are on like the third, fourth line a shot. Like they produce miraculously in one game, and they're like, oh, you're on the top line. You're first.
Reward players for when they're playing well and when they're not. You got
Exactly. But at the same time, like, I get doing that. But if these players are not producing on a consistent basis, you can't keep putting them up on the top line. Like, I get rewarding them, but they have to be consistent in order to get that top spot. And I feel like a lot of the people who were rewarded and a lot of the people who were ending up on that top like 2 lines, just they shouldn't have been there.
Yeah. What's Tim Tebow's doing over there? He's like making signs to me, like, I don't know what's going on.
What you doing over there, buddy?
Oh, Charlie. Yeah, the dog is down here.
Charlie
Meliodas. He's hanging out in the studio. I'm giving the pets there. I think he smells Everest, my husky dog. But But yeah, no, I agree with everything you said. Yeah, definitely got be better from that next year. I think some other Hawks news here, or not news, but just reports. Because we talked about this on Monday, like when that Zegras trade broke, it's like, why isn't that a move like the Hawks should have been on? Like it would cost what, a fourth and a second, like barely anything in Paling, like depth piece, right? Apparently, according to Scott Powers on The Athletic, the Hawks did have discussions involving Zegras, but they didn't go far. So that about sums up pretty much any Blackhawks rumor these days. It's like, oh yeah, there's been discussions, there've been talks, and they haven't led to anything. So
we gave it the old college try.
Exactly right. Well, at least he tried, right? So that's the motto there. At least Kyle tried. But yeah, I think would have been nice being a guy like that. But it is what it is.
Yeah, and I remember even going back to beginning of like 2024, back when the whole Reichel thing started, like when he started getting healthy scratch and all that. There was a lot of talk, maybe Zegras for Reichel, and at first I was like, okay, well, no. But then the more and more it kept happening, the more and more it made a lot of sense. So when Zegras was like linked to the Blackhawks for a little bit and there were like discussions or whatever, I immediately thought, oh, here's where Reichel leaves. But honestly, like kind of how we've been saying, he needs a little bit more time for his value to go up because, like, I mean, nobody really needs him like in the player that he is currently. It's just like Trevor Zegras is a great player and all that, but like I can't imagine like if I were the Anaheim Ducks looking, oh yeah, we want Lucas Reichel for Trevor Zegras.
Could you imagine what the Bedsy Zegras dual Michigan threat would have been like?
Oh,
I
that
guess
would
they
have
could
been
do
great,
Michigan's
though.
with Beachclub instead. So I guess that's what he's looking for Zegras.
Right.
Whatever destination, like who can I have the dual Michigan threat with? I'm sure Rick Tockett's going to be losing his mind. That's going to be so fun to watch.
Do we think that Kyle Davidson might go after another American winger that's on the trade block, and Isaac
Who are you
Howard?
suggesting? Oh, Howard?
Yeah, Isaac Howard.
I mean, I know he and Nazar got that chemistry with each other from the U.S. program.
Yeah.
It's a guy I'd definitely take a look at. I mean, it looks like his future in Tampa is definitely in doubt for sure. So, we brought this up before. I'd be interested.
Yeah,
I
I
what
think
the package would look like. But
I think a package would honestly be similar to Zegras.
you think so? Like,
Yeah, like if we
like
Reichel
package for Howard or somebody like that.
package Reichel and 34 for Howard.
It's interesting.
Tassos, what do you think about that?
Got to start getting guys in.
Yeah, the thing is, Howard's another guy who's not proven though, right? Like if I'm making trades, it could be for a piece that's already established as a star in the NHL.
Yeah.
Okay, go let Philly get him then,
Yeah.
or the Sharks.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a joke. You should go get guys. I'm disagreeing with you. You should go get guys like that. You know what I mean? Even Zegras, I get, is more of an NHL. You should have gotten Zegras too. If the price was that low, honestly, there's no excuse for not getting Trevor Zegras. I would have offered 24 for Trevor Zegras. Like, what?
Would that
He's
be
an
enough?
NHL player.
Yeah.
Didn't they gave him Ryan Paling, who, look, he's a fringe NHLer, and what was a second round pick?
I believe it was a first round pick.
Paling.
Okay,
So yeah, it would have been. That probably would have been.
first.
Yeah.
A first round pick for a second, a fringe NHLer, and a fourth.
Let me fact check this.
Like,
Yeah, no, I'm shocked that we weren't able to make something happen there.
Weird.
Yeah, no, it is odd. Maybe Zegras doesn't quite fit the KD mold, but I mean, if we were having discussions about him, then clearly he must have been interested. So,
He was drafted 25th overall by the Montreal Canadiens in 2017.
who?
Paling.
Oh, Paling. But
Paling.
2017. We're talking almost 10 years ago now. We
Right.
kind of know what he is. already.
he's a bottom six player.
Yeah, in terms of Isaac Howard, he was like the last pick in the first round in that 2022 draft. Or
He's
like
clearly got
second
potential.
round.
He won the Hobie Baker last
he
year.
just-
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
He was on the best team in college hockey. Yeah, he's a really good player. So, yeah, I don't know. I think the Hawks are going to get caught really quick, missing the boat on all these players very soon. You know, you're going to, if JJ Peterka goes to another team that is in Buffalo or Chicago, and if, Zegras changes hands like he did, you're going to miss the boat on some of these guys.
I think the problem is like the Hawks have so much draft capital in terms of assets, but it just doesn't really seem like that's what teams are looking for right now. They're looking for like established players, and like the Hawks just don't really have a ton of that right now. And definitely the pieces they do have, they're probably just not willing to part with at this moment because most of them have been drafted by Kyle. So that's what makes it a tricky conundrum to solve right now. The Hawks are in a kind of a sticky situation at the moment. Yeah.
All right. I just want to mention we'll do the Mount Rushmore and then we'll hit a break. But just a quick shout out, or did you have anything else?
A couple more notes. I just want Ben Pope did do an interview with Ryan Donato lately, and nothing special from that interview, but he basically just said, he's excited to be a Hawk, and there were some temptations about the open market, etc. But he wanted to settle down and establish his roots here.
He loves Chicago. Who doesn't love Chicago?
Yeah, I just think it's cool to see that because I keep being told from people outsiders that guys hate playing here, but I mean pretty much everything we hear from players is they enjoy being here and love playing in Chicago. So good to see that from Donato. I'm glad he's going to be a piece here for the next 4 years. And a couple other notes here. It is Sam Renzel and Landon Slaggert's birthdays today. So
happy birthday, guys!
Ground-shattering stuff, dude.
You could tell we're scrapping for a material here on this Wednesday.
I got some stuff. Shout out the PWHL draft. That was a really exciting draft to talk. If the NHL draft is anything like the PWHL draft was yesterday, Kristen Campbell is one of the best goalies in the league, traded from Toronto to Vancouver, and Abby Rock, who's a really good player, got traded from New York to Montreal, and then New York traded for the 3rd overall pick from Toronto for who's the player they got? Christian O'Neill? I can't remember.
Abby Rock, didn't she do a Michigan or something? And
she did do a Michigan.
Yeah,
on
I did
the
see that highlight
PWHL
reel.
last
Yeah,
year.
she child legend. I know she was on the U.S. World's team. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, she's talented.
So that was super exciting. Hopefully the NHL draft on Friday can take a bit of a page from that.
Actually, I got one more thing. I don't know if we mentioned this or not, but
Landon Slaggerts.
No, a little bit of a TBD here. No. So on this day, actually yesterday, 12 years ago, 17 seconds happened for the Blackhawks. One of the all-time greatest playoff moments. We'll hear a bit more about 17 seconds later on in the show for Mount Rushmore, but just wanted to mention, that happened 12 years ago, which is crazy to think.
Can I bring one more thing up before we cut to Mount Rushmore, if you don't mind?
Sure.
There was a clip that was found on Reddit yesterday, and it was Mike Greer's availability.
Oh
and
boy!
Some guy was talking, or some reporter asked, hey, what do you think about Misa? What do you think about Frondel? And he went through, you can watch the clip. There's a clip on Twitter from user Connor Gavin on this. It's like a 2.5-minute clip, so we won't play it on the podcast here. But if you look at his body language, and I'm feeding into delusion here. Let me feed into delusion here. I think from what I've seen, he defended Frondel more, and his body language on Frondel seemed a lot better. So it completely could be a smokescreen, but I want to feed into delusion here. That's just me personally.
We got a psychologist here. Based on Mike's body language, I think they're going to select for. How do you know it's not like a smoke screen? How do you know that's probably what he wants you to think? Oh, yeah, I really like that Frondel kid, Chicago. We're definitely not going to take Bisa and cuck you again.
I mean, I took a couple of psychology courses in college, so I could be a psychologist.
It could be. I hope you're right.
Yeah.
I hope you're right. I'm delusion. I'm not the second your take there. And oh, by the way, Lee Grosman. I knew Lee would love my cut. That's a DeChuck cut, Lee. So that's why I got inspired. I knew you'd like it. Anyway, that's all I got.
Yeah, no, Nolan is definitely 100% qualified. Psychology, that's his thing, actually.
Psychology and the Kevin Adams vote of approval.
Yes, absolutely.
We're really going to see both Celebrini and Misa in a Sharks uniform. I'm going to lose my mind.
I hate
I'm going to
speaking that
bash
into
my head on the
existence.
wall when I see that. Frondel better be him. That's all I got to say.
Connor Bedard goes, it should have been me, not him. It's not fair.
I love that clip. Well, we're still on the search for Bedard's guy. Or is it Frank the Tank? We'll see. Maybe it's McKenna. I don't know. There's always next draft, right? There's always next year. There's always next draft.
I was ridiculed for talking about
it. More and more by the day, it's looking like the Hawks are going to be the favorites for Gavin McKenna next year. So,
what about Pittsburgh? I mean, Pittsburgh's the only team trying to be
Pittsburgh
worse.
has Sidney Crosby on it, brother.
Yeah.
The Hawks will be the worst team in the National Hockey League
Can't wait
next
for another
year.
60-point season with fans complaining every day about this rebuild going nowhere, and then we finish last and we don't even get McKenna. That's going to be absolute cinema. I'm really looking forward to it. I just the excitement is oozing off my face right now.
And then don't forget about the contract talks next year when everyone says we overpaid. Please just let us get to Friday. Please just let us get to Friday. That's all I care about.
Hopefully there'll be a surprise in store. Yeah.
Looking forward to watching Tyler Bertuzzi beat it into a square for 82 games. Just really looking forward to that.
Stand to the side of the net
I
front.
did see that quote say, now here's some good news. We need some good news here. We've been getting a little depressed here. Yeah, in the Athletic article, Frank the Tank was quoted as saying he wants to play in Chicago for the rest of his life. So I love that boy, Frank Nazar. That kid's going to be special.
I was watching the 2022 draft in preparation for today, and my delusional take earlier. Frank's dad was a big Red Wings fan and now has, obviously become a Blackhawks fan. So it's nice to see that, it's other side instead of, Patrick Kane coming from the Blackhawks to the Red Wings. So it's nice to see a light at the end of the tunnel for sure.
That draft, that moment where Nazar has his name called, and he walks up to the stage, the aura he shows in that moment, you could already tell he's going to be a star. And he just has that confidence factor that everybody does. I love that. I love that kid.
Yeah, it's just like the clip I sent you. What was that last week? Talking about how he has so much aura.
Yeah. There's so much aura there. Yeah, love that kid.
All right, fellas. Before this gets totally off the rails, let's send it to a Mount Rushmore, and then we're gonna take a break, and then we're gonna come back and talk a little bit more, and maybe play a game or two. Okay, everybody, it's Mount Rushmore time, and hopefully, maybe we can mix up the order of these because we should probably insert this at some point during the Stanley Cup Final, or while we know it's going on. But it is the Mount Rushmore of playoff moments. So hopefully you're watching this as we are still in the midst of a very good Stanley Cup Final between Edmonton and Florida.
No, probably
and
over
hopefully
by
it
then.
hasn't ended yet.
Yeah.
And maybe there's a moment from some of these games that we haven't watched yet that would, be inserted in here after the fact.
Seth Jones Cup winner.
Seth Jones Cup winner would probably definitely make the list. Okay. Is the Mount Rushmore of Stanley Cup playoff moments, and with the first pick in the draft, it is Justin Lynch.
Well, I know exactly what I want. The 15-year anniversary is pretty recently. Give me Patrick Kane's overtime winner in 2010 to break the Hawks' 49-year Cup drought. At the time, was the second longest after the Rangers' 54-year drought. Only he knew the puck was in, and just if I had to pick one Hawks one, number one, that's got to be the one. Yeah.
Not what I thought you were going to pick.
Really?
No.
Oh, I know what you
It's
thought.
exactly what I thought you were going to pick.
Yeah, no, there's another one I thought of it one, but no, I mean, to win the Cup, are you kidding me? Yeah, no. Yeah.
All right. Raven and Tim.
We will be taking McDavid's 2024 overtime goal versus the Stars.
What?
2?
Yeah. I wanted to take it at 2. Sue me.
Okay.
I don't even know what to put for that.
To win first round.
Do you know what game? Do you know what game it was?
I know it was the conference final.
There were 6 of those. There were 6 games in those.
Well, give us 1 second.
I'll look it up. Or we'll
Just continue and we'll do it.
Yeah. McDavid OT winner, 2024 Western Conference Final.
Okay.
Unspecified game.
Who was
okay.
it against? Wait, if it was last year, it wasn't the Stars, right? Who was?
Yeah, it was last year.
It was
the
the
it was the Stars, right? Yeah,
It was the
correct.
Stars
Yeah,
last
my
year.
bad. That's on me. Yeah.
I don't know what to take here. Just kidding. 2 goals in 17 seconds.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know. That's what I thought you were picking. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Okay. Fair.
That's
It was
what I
game
thought.
1.
Also, a Stanley Cup winning goal for the Chicago Blackhawks.
Well, there's
Game
actually
1.
another one I was thinking of. That's not that.
Oh, you
that-
mean the one I'm about to take
I'm gonna
right
set
now?
you up from give you the
One.
assist there.
Oh, you mean Patrick Kane Heartbreaker?
Yeah, there you go.
I'll take that.
That was the second one I was, but yeah, that's a good one too. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll take
Yeah.
that. And
Yeah.
then I'll take... I'm going to double down here. I'm going to take Marian Hossa against Nashville. Was it game 5 at home? Gets out of the box, scores it in overtime, slides to his knees.
Yeah, fair.
I'll go
Fair.
with those 2 first.
Kane or Shorty to send that to overtime. Yeah.
I think Tim thinks he has a microphone in front of him when he talks during
Yeah,
these.
he just talks.
I know. He's
just
just...
yaps over there to nobody.
and I try to
I think
repeat
he
what he
thinks
says.
he's talking to us, but I don't think he
Chat
realizes
can't
that
hear
they
you.
don't know what he's saying at all.
They have
so.
no clue what you're saying.
So, give me the Bobby Orr flying through the air goal.
Probably the most iconic image in
Probably,
hockey
yes,
history.
probably one
Up
of the
there.
most famous pictures
Up
in
there, for
sports
sure.
history.
Yeah, definitely up there.
Flying goal. The Bobby Orr flying goal.
Is it us?
All right, do you guys want to pick game 2 from the 2024 Western Conference Finals?
so badly.
No, we're gonna take Steve Weiserman's OT bomb.
Steve Weiserman, that's my boy.
The Weiser
The Weiserman connection here is strong.
Yeah, I love that.
that goal is awesome for those who have seen it or don't, but like taking the puck off Gretzky, the clip afterward, like when the puck goes in the net after Eisenman scores that goal and Gretzky just is like, oh my God, I cannot believe that I just got stripped of the puck for an OT winner that eliminated my team. And then he left St. Louis. So and then that was it.
On that team too.
Yeah. It was a good pick. Justin, to you with 2.
Yeah.
Good job, guys.
Yeah, so 10 and 13 have been taken, right? So obviously, we got to take 15. I would say just the moment of, the Hawks winning the cup in 2015, 3 cups in 6 years, sealing the modern day dynasty. I think that was their first at home ice since 38 or something. Yeah, just that.
So just
Hawks winning the cup in 2015. That's fair, right?
I'm gonna put Hawks clinch cup.
Sure. Yeah, clinch. Yeah.
Because it's like moments. So,
I get
we'll
it.
say
Yeah.
like the moment of
like
the
Taze,
game
yeah, I
ending
just think of that image of Taze lifting the cup at the UC. Both the prior cups were away, just to get one at home and just really seal that dynasty. Yeah, chef's kiss. That'll be Bedard in a few, 15 to 10 years or so. Yeah, delusion, not delusion.
All right, we're finally getting on the Hawks list. We're going to take Seabrook's OT winner versus the Red Wings, 2013 round 2, game
so
7.
good.
One of the loudest UC eruptions of all time.
Oh, good job, Raven. And
I gotta actually give them credit. That's a good pick for ChatGPT. Really hit a home run with that one.
Wait, what was the order here?
We got it. Don't worry.
Yeah.
I'm up next. With my next pick, I am going to take. Oh, there's so many good ones.
Wait a minute.
I want Brett Hull, foot in the crease, Stanley Cup winning goal against the Buffalo Sabres.
Okay. Yeah.
Maybe one of the greatest goals of all time
Wait
that
a
should not
minute.
have counted.
Shouldn't have I had back-to-back picks? Because if I had the first pick, then,
Oh,
yeah.
you should have. Well, yeah.
Oh.
So, all right.
Whoopsies.
You guys, we got it.
Hey, I will say we've made it through about 25 of these almost without messing up the order, so not terrible.
So,
Well, you can't take any of the ones that we've already picked. So,
I can't steal
No.
the Seabrook.
No.
Okay, fair enough.
You can make your pick though now.
All right, I'll take Ray Bork winning the cup in 2001 for the Colorado Avalanche.
That's a good one.
He played like 22 seasons. Obviously, didn't ever win with the Bruins, and then wins with the Avs. Is pretty. I just think of that like iconic line after 22 years. Raymond Bork, and he lifts the cup. Yeah. Actually, I'm happy. I'll happily
good
take
pick.
that. I'm surprised that one actually got this far. Actually, yeah, take it.
Now is it my turn?
Mm-hmm.
Do I get 2?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm taking Alec Martinez overtime goal against the Kings. All right, oh my God, against the New York Rangers.
Okay, good. I'm
Game
glad you took
5.
that one and not the Hawks one.
Not
the Hawks one for all the
not the Western Conference Final. Just jumps up in the air, gloves straight up in the air. That place is going. Lundqvist just down in a heat. Yeah, electric.
It's even no bias. Hawks legend Martinez. Yeah, can't argue against that one.
You guys got something you want to share with the class? No, okay.
I will say I don't think Hawks fans are gonna love that one though. I don't think I get some votes for that one. Yeah,
I've got 2.
you got 2.
bangers.
You got a couple. That's fair.
And then is it my turn again?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, nice. I am going to do this year, 2025, the Leafs getting blown out 6-1 in Game 7 at home.
Tassos loves having put that in the graphic. That's probably why you picked that one.
Where I lose the Hawks fans, I get them right back.
Yep, I see the vision there. Good stuff.
So there's a lot of good ones that are not going to get picked here. Like some things here that really shaped like early YouTube watching of myself, and what I enjoyed watching. Give me what many consider to be the most dominant game of Wayne Gretzky's career, the hat trick in Game 7 of 1993 against the Maple Leafs. That is considered just one of the... Again, you gotta just not. His name is Tim Tebow! We've doxed him.
Tim Tebow.
Yes, you gotta just not do that. But Wayne Gretzky hat trick in 1993, Game 7.
I like that Nashville hat, by the way. Yeah, it's a hell of a place.
Jesus Christ. We're taking Brandon Holtby's The Save 2018.
You're taking what?
The save.
The save.
The save.
The save.
Brandon Holtby.
Braden Holtby.
Braden.
I was like, who's Braden? Yeah, all right. We don't need that.
The save. I'm gonna have to go back and
that
watch the save.
I gotta see the save. Yeah.
So iconic that none of us thought of it. Yeah.
Holtby.
No, don't even type in Holtby. Just type in the save.
The save.
Yeah.
Oh,
The
just the
save.
save.
What comes in?
The save.
NHL.
Should I put hockey like NHL
Yeah,
or
yeah.
something to the save?
Oh shoot! Yeah, actually, I just typed in the
cooked?
save, and it was the first thing. That came up.
Yeah. Wow. Let's see how good of a save this is. Oh, we got to add here.
Raven's feeling himself. Come out here and flex after that one. That
Oh,
one
I think
feels,
of the save. I think
that-
of like
that one
Fleury in
feels
09
good.
for the Pens.
I'm
like
so
that's
sweaty.
what
I don't
think
need
of
to
the
do
save.
that.
I was gonna say the Fleury one on Nick Lidstrom is the
Oh,
one
that
I
was a
think of.
pretty. Yeah, that was a pretty. Yeah, okay, fair enough. That's a pretty damn good. Yeah, okay.
I remember that one.
Yeah.
We turn the heat on. No.
All right,
They're a
Justin,
desert in
last
here.
pick.
Me?
Yep.
I'm between a couple here.
There's so many good ones.
Yeah, I mean, I probably should be in between more than a couple here. And actually, I just forgot what the other one was. So I'm gonna take. I'm gonna take Mark Messier calling his shot in '94,
Yeah, solid. That's
Babe
good.
Ruth style.
Yeah.
You know, to actually that ties in well because my first pick was Hawks breaking 49-year drought in effect, and this one is Mark Messier calling his shot, and the Rangers break their 54-year drought. So which was the longest of all time. Well, what was then? Now it's the Leafs. So yeah, I'll take that all day.
That's a great pick. I didn't even think that wasn't even on my radar.
Was that the last pick of the draft?
Yes.
Wow. I will. Okay. I think I take the dub with this one.
One of the
Respectfully.
ones that I really wanted to take, but I did not, was Paul Correa off the floor on the board when he gets hit by Scott Stevens, and then
Yeah.
looks like he's dead, and then he comes back and scores the next shift, and he doesn't even know where he is. That's an awesome moment.
Yeah, I just remember the other one. The
what you got?
reason I forgot is because it was part of that 2018 Caps. It was just Ovi getting the cup, the summer of Ovi, all that. But yeah, that was the other one. I think the Holtby thing threw me off guard. But I think I'll take the Messi over that. Yeah.
Miracle in Manchester is one of the best comebacks in NHL history. That was LA erasing a 5-0 deficit in the third period to win a playoff game.
Hawks did that against the Flames in 09.
I'm trying to think what else was there. There's a lot of great ones. The Marc-Andre Fleury save was one that
Yeah,
I
I was thinking of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I think of the save, that's probably Fleury. Yeah.
Cool. There's probably other stuff that we're missing too. So
The save.
The save.
save.
Yeah, I
I'm
love
gonna
that.
start using
The
that
save.
once a game when I'm doing live streams.
That was the
Just
save by
referring-
Spencer Knight.
Referring to a big save as that was the save.
Arvid Soderblom with the save.
Yeah.
Remember that save? Olchek would always say that, Eddie O. Yeah.
Boston winning Game 7 in Vancouver in 2011 is a good one.
The riots after that. Yeah.
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 Cool. Yeah, well, that's good stuff.
Cool.
Oh, the Alex Burrows OT winner.
Connor
Yeah.
McDavid
Yeah.
calling his shot last series against the Stars
Yeah.
to that kid's family.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And the Kings in 2012, they were like an 8 seed, 16. Yeah, like they were like the worst team in those playoffs. They won the cup. Yeah.
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 Cool.
There's a lot. We could go all day.
The Buckets Tampa Bay Lightning, like 4 overtime game a couple of years ago. That was really good.
when the Blue Jackets beat the Lightning in 2019, they came
It was
back.
the
Yeah,
year-
they swept them. Yeah.
Yeah,
You're thinking
it was
the
year
the
after.
Leafs.
I'm thinking of the bubble.
Ah.
It was in the bubble. They had like a marathon, like 4 or 5.
Oh,
overtime
Lightning. Oh,
games.
I remember that. It was like 7 overtime. Seth Jones played like
Yeah.
over an hour or
Yep.
something. Yeah. That Stan Bowman saw that like I need that guy. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, that's it. I take the win in the Mount Rushmore. Justin takes second, and Lee loses by a wide margin. I actually tried to spare some of my votes to Lee. I won't even lie. And it didn't work. So, because I thought it'd be really funny if we could find a way for Justin to lose. And
oh, really? That's it. Huh?
I was thinking about that. I was thinking about that last night. Actually, I was like, man, it would actually be quite a shocking turnaround if you end up somehow losing it. But with that,
wow, unbelievable.
No, but Lee clinches last.
He clinches it.
He clinches.
Wow,
it was the second to last one. So
wow.
Friday's Mount Rushmore is all but meaningless.
Lee has been eliminated.
Lee has officially clinched last place.
Yeah. No playoffs for Lee.
Tough Mount Rushmore season for Lee.
Dude, he was in last like the whole time. Yeah. I don't think he ever got out of last place.
No, there was a period of time where
was there a tie?
I think it was last? Me and Lee were like neck and neck, like 2 points off or something, and then I would like to say before this episode we were tied for first place, but now
how the hell is ChatGPT tied for first place?
I believe
not anymore.
AI's taking over the world.
Oh, okay.
Are we tied for second now with Justin?
You are one up on Justin.
Oh, let's go. Still
79 points to 78 for Justin.
If we can beat,
I am at 81. Lee is at 71.
If we can beat the Human Encyclopedia, that is a huge win.
Yeah, can't beat the boss though. You know, just saying.
There's some manipulation going on.
We need more fun stuff like that though. Obviously, we ripped that off from like dozens of other podcasts that have done it.
We'll have some
it's
fresh
not an original idea, you know, but
Yeah.
we're gonna do. This was like a stepping stone for us into fun stuff. So I
For
hope
sure.
you guys like kind of enjoyed it. You know, now like with more people too, it'll be fun to like get.
Oh, it'll be
Natalie
fun.
and
Yeah, you
me
guys are
in the
lucky to get
mix
them
and
involved in
That'll
this.
be a lot of
so-
fun.
We will have enough
Looking forward
people,
to
I
seeing
think,
it.
for
to do teams
of
teams
Oh
for
yeah,
everyone.
that'll be
Kinds
cool.
of
Yeah, like
rules.
3v3s or something. Yeah,
Yeah.
that'll be fun. 2v2s.
Betsy Nazar connection right here.
Aha!
There you go.
Let's go.
those two cannot be on a team.
Too overpowered.
Yeah, 2 OP. Like we're just we're that guys.
So Raven, make your
Exactly.
case. Do you want me on your team or what? Or are you sticking with Tim Tebow?
I mean, if we're finishing in second place, I might have to keep it with my boy, but we'll discuss if things.
Oh, I mean,
go
to quote the
awry.
great Ricky
Nobody's looking
Bobby.
to join the winner. All right. I see how it is.
To quote the great Ricky Bobby, if you ain't
0%
first, you're
interest.
last.
I'm a tough teammate. I won't lie. For something like this, I would be a very difficult
You're
teammate.
more individual oriented.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Independent. Yeah, fair enough.
No, maybe I'll bring Natalie onto the team. We'll win. We'll take the win.
That would not seem interested.
Yeah, I don't think that was very more interest. No, that's fine. That's fine.
Charlie could be your teammate.
We're bringing somebody new in next week too. His name is Charlie. Not the
after
dog.
the dog? Yeah.
Not the dog. Charlie, who is right here, and not Charlie Romeliotis. His name is Charlie Weber. He will be starting with us next Tuesday.
Welcome, Charlie.
Yeah,
W's
yeah.
Charlie
I
in the
don't
chat.
think he's watching right now. I think he's on vacation in North Carolina. He said, but
What, is he watching NASCAR over there?
I have no idea. You can ask him on Tuesday.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
Could be watching the Hurricanes. You never know.
his first day will be Tuesday. So
Tuesday. Yeah.
yeah, we got some fun stuff. You guys are gonna go like do a little video for us. We won't spoil what the video is, but one of the summer videos will be made just by the newbies, Andrew, Natalie, and Charlie. So we're gonna see what that is. Raven put in the chat that 5 of the summer videos are completed already. Justin
Really?
Justin did some awesome ones.
The history ones.
Yeah. Justin, we can leak those a little bit. Justin did like 6 different stories. We came up with scripts that are different stories, and it's cool. They're a little bit like Steve Dangle videos, like that kind of style.
Of like the background, like the cuts, and you'll like it. I think it's good stuff.
It's really cool. Raven
Yeah.
did a nice job editing it, and Justin did an awesome job executing it. So that'll be fun. And then teaching Lee how to play hockey is.
I can't wait for that one. I think we got our last recording segment finished Monday, and that'll be a fun one to watch. Just progression, and I think they'll find that pretty fun.
But yeah, so lots of CHR content over the summer too. But remember, next Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday are our last shows of this season.
That's crazy, man. This year has really flown by. Life without CHR is going to be tough, but we won't be completely gone. Like we'll be releasing plenty of summer content and socials. Still, we'll still be here, just not in the usual.
If anything
format.
crazy happens, we'll do an emergency pod.
Yeah, for sure, of course.
Hawk sign Mitch Marner, although maybe that happens on day 1. Maybe we get that on Tuesday before we go off. I'm speaking delusionally right now.
You still think Marner should Chicago is a possibility there?
I think they should try.
I think they should try. I just kind of accepted that it's probably not going to happen. Yeah.
If you could get him, I don't know. Nick Kiprio said, if we want to talk for 2 minutes on this, Nick Kiprio said on his show that he has Marner on his like most recent trade board, not free agent board, but trade board, which was because
so can't lose him for nothing.
But that was a very nobody thought, like everybody just kind of thought Mitch was going to leave and that the Leafs weren't going to be able to trade his rights. But now, you know, there's two things here. Does he take a short-term deal? Or does he take a long-term deal? Mm-hmm. And if he goes the long-term deal, because there's a sentiment that it could be a short-term deal, he takes a 2-year deal, then in 2 years when the cap is $113 million, he gets another crack at this, right?
Yeah.
Or you take the long-term deal now. If you take the long-term deal now, maybe the team that signs him to that deal wants it to be an 8. They want that 8th year to try and bring the AAV down a little bit. You know,
I could see that. Yeah.
So could the Hawks, you know, maybe jump the gun on something like that? Like maybe give the Leafs their first round pick back. You know, maybe a play. You know, Kevin. Like we're talking Mitch Marner here, man.
For that, that's just
if Mitch is like already like, hey, I'm leaving.
Yeah,
you know, I don't know.
And I think this is all interesting too because again, this is uncharted territory from what pending UFA rights really are. You look at, I think the Hawks did it with Corey Perry. They only sent a 7th round pick, and then the Hawks did it also with Foligno and Hall, getting Foligno's UFA rights for Mitchell and Regula. I think the only other trade outside of that was like Kevin Hayes that I can remember. Kevin Hayes' UFA rights were traded for a 4th round pick. So this is definitely uncharted territory. I mean, you could see Mitch getting a 1st round pick for his UFA rights. There might be supply and demand for that.
And what if you don't sign him?
Then I don't know.
But you get that initial, like, there's going to be a big market for him, but you get that initial, like, stage kind of out of the way. It's definitely an advantage.
It'll be kind of nice for the Leafs to be the one to not give up anything, and because look at the the Seattle franchise or the Seattle expansion franchise when they traded for Jared McCann and then lost Jared McCann.
Yeah.
So it'd be nice to be on the other end of the stick for sure.
Yeah. Look, I think having Mitch leave for nothing, you have to imagine that Mitch already kind of has an idea of where he wants to go.
Yeah.
Like nothing on July 1st is going to like sort of come as a shock to him, except for maybe the dollar number from some teams, right? Mm-hmm. Like he's been to Anaheim, he's been to San Jose, he's been to Chicago, he's been to Vegas, he's been to LA, like the teams that are.
Do you think this is really going to get done July 1st? Like, it wouldn't shock me if this stretched for quite a while.
I think that's ridiculous. I think it will happen. I think you're right. I think that's ridiculous. Like you have this time now, and his agent Darren Ferris is already talking to these teams,
right?
Like, the conversations have already started. I know there's no tampering in hockey, but like
they say that. You think these teams don't kind of skirt the line there?
Have we talked about this? Do you guys remember the couple of years where this was like 20? I want to say maybe Raven. Could you look this up? Like when this happened? It was like 2017 to 2019, where they had like the negotiating period. Mm-hmm. They had like a week where you could negotiate. They had that for a couple of seasons, and then they got rid of it. Because I don't know why they got rid of it.
I was gonna say I feel like that was a good system. I don't understand why they got. Yeah,
they only did it for a couple of years and then it never happened again. But they had like this like negotiating window. I don't know. It should happen 12:01 on Tuesday. It should happen where Mitch Marner signed somewhere.
A lot of times you get these signings too, like leaked like well beforehand too. Like I know the window officially opens like at 12 that day, but like a lot of times you kind of already know these guys are going to sign
because they're talking beforehand.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah.
Like we found out about Teravainen into the Hawks like 3 days before it actually happened.
I think it was like the night before almost. Like we kind of knew it was going to happen. Yeah. I remember that was
especially with all these insiders like Sarah Valley and Elliott
these guys
and
are
Chris
pros.
Johnson.
Like they're going to figure it out.
That's their job is to like uncover be the first on it,
right? Fair. That's true.
So I don't know. I think Chicago knows whether they're in or out on Marner right now.
It feels like they're still like they're in, but they're not fully in. If that makes sense. Like I read that again that article from Scott Powers, The Athletic. It definitely seems like they'll try. Like they'll definitely reach out. I'm sure, but I don't know if they're amongst like the top tier. They might be probably mid pack somewhere.
They're like putting their toes in the water. They're not going head first.
They're not committed to Mitch Marner. You're hearing teams that are absolutely committed. They're like here's $14 million, whatever. Like it seems like the Hawks are kind of.
I think the Hawks should do it.
They're not fully convinced. It feels like. I
think if I'm Kyle Davidson, at this point right now, I'd give Mitch Marner $14 million.
Yeah, I just don't know.
I'd give him 15.
If you were, but you think Kyle Davidson's going to do it?
If I were him, I would. If I were him, that's what I would do. I don't think he would, but I don't get why. Like, I understand the money's going to be eaten up pretty quickly, but the cap is going up so much that
he's saving up for McDavid next summer.
You have to imagine. You have to imagine.
Honestly, maybe not McDavid, but next summer is going to be loaded too. But who knows how much these players are going to be available? Like, it kind of feels like if you're not going to do it this summer, you better be going all in next summer, right? I don't know, but it's odd. Like we were so aggressive last year, and now it feels like this year, it's like even Powers and Labs were saying that the Hawks could be done. Like after the Burakovsky trade, like they might not be doing much this offseason. It's like. Okay.
Right back into hibernation mode.
We'll see how that goes.
But I agree with that. It's either Mitch or nothing.
Yeah.
In the free agent
market for nothing.
Yeah. Like go for it or make a trade. Like make a trade for a guy.
Yeah. You got to do something. I think Bedsy needs a true. I think it's more quality over quantity. But I do think Bedsy needs a true top line winger to play with, and he doesn't have that right now. So that's really the missing piece for me. Otherwise, I'm happy to let the youth cook and play the kids. Like I'm cool with that. I like the youth defenseman. I like what we got in net. So really, it's just find a top line winger for Bedsy, but that's easier said than done.
Not only looking at Connor Bedard with Mitch Marner, but you can definitely see the development track for Frank Nazar as well for Mitch Marner.
Yeah, but that's not just
Frank Nazar looks like Mitch Marner, man. Like I said that all. You guys.
So we have Mitch Marner. Then why do we need to pay him $14 million if we have a Mitch Marner here?
Because Frank's a little different.
Yeah.
Frank's not.
He's not going to put up 100
He's not afraid.
Yeah,
he's not.
You think he could?
I think Frank could be a 90-point guy.
You think he'd be Braden Point?
Okay.
I think he could be a 90-point.
If it could be around a point,
Exactly.
If it could be around a point per game, that'd be.
That's a perfect person to try and be like. Is Braden?
He plays
Point.
a lot like him. You watch a tape, they very much emulate each other. I'm pretty sure he's even been quoted saying Braden Point in terms of player comp. Don't quote me on that. I'm sure you probably would be. You seem to always be in the know of that stuff amongst player comps and stuff. Things like that.
I'm trying to think.
Yeah.
I forget what his player comp was last night at the draft, but I mean, I do see a lot of Braden Point in him.
You do.
Yeah.
When I compare Nazar to Marner, it's more in the stick plays in the, if you ever watch Mitch Marner, he's always trying to intercept a pass by swatting it out of the air and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And sometimes he does it, because he's so talented. Frank does those things.
The little details and stuff.
But he's making attempts at stuff.
Similar build too, right?
He dives for pucks, I think, Frank can be different. He can be a bit maybe stronger than Mitch. He can be a bit more physical than him. A little less afraid. I don't think Frank Nazar is really afraid of a lot. I know he's not the biggest.
He doesn't
dude,
play like he's afraid. That's for sure. They call him Frank the Tank for a reason. He plays like a tank, even though he's undersized. Yeah.
But look, I just I think they should go get Mitch. This is like a Selke level winger, 100-point guy. These guys don't come around in free agency ever, really.
There's a reason it's been so much. I don't think I've ever seen more rumors and speculation around a player this time of year.
John Tavares.
Because it just rarely happens, like you said. So it's okay, if you're waiting on next summer, well, you don't know what's going to happen next summer. So it's when you have an opportunity of this much cap space and room, and you want to take that step.
To take that analogy,
the timing's never going to be really perfect. I mean, that's the thing. People are looking for, the timing's off. Well, if you're waiting on that, they might never show up. You know what I mean? If you just keep kicking can down the road, eventually you got to, start being aggressive. Yeah. So, I think I'd be disappointed if the Hawks weren't at least in the discussions, at least make an attempt. I would hope so.
I just want to everybody can, and I feel bad. We need to either get another mic or maybe with the people sharing have the ones with the stands.
Sorry. Yeah, I should.
Her and I are going back and forth.
Okay. Yeah.
But just close your eyes and imagine Mitch Marner on the Blackhawks, regardless of what forget the number, forget the dollar number. How excited is the city for hockey? How good is it for CHR? Like,
yeah.
How good is it for...
That's what you're thinking of. You're thinking of the business.
A little bit. Well, even just for the show, like, I don't know if you've noticed, they talk a lot about Mitch Marner in Toronto.
Yeah, when we be talking a lot of... I do think it would create some more buzz here that's sort of like started to dissipate a little bit. I think for me, my biggest argument for Marner has always been just the impact he could have on a Connor Bedard. Like, that's the biggest... Yes, the whole squad. Yes, the whole Blackhawks organization as a whole. But really, it's Connor Bedard. I think those two, that would definitely unlock, I think, a side of this game we haven't seen yet.
Yeah. Like, if you haven't noticed, and I know it's going to change, like, people are going to buy other jerseys, like, people are going to start buying Nazar jerseys, but
that's going to take
you
time.
and I were at the Winter Classic.
Yeah.
Were you at the Winter Classic?
I was not at the Winter
Were
Classic.
you at the Winter Classic?
Unfortunately, no.
Unfortunately, no.
I think you guys were
no.
lucky
Actually,
you weren't
you
there,
were lucky,
actually. Yeah. I got sick there, and it was when it was just a crappy game.
Yeah. It was a fun weekend, though. You guys would have loved it. But so when one of the most like purveying images in my mind from Winter Classic
98
weekend,
jerseys and just like Hawks legends. There's
Yeah.
nobody from this current crop outside of
it was all 98.
Yeah.
I mean, someone had a
Every
91
single-
jersey on.
I could count the amount of other jerseys like
You'd
on
see some
one hand.
Marners. Mhm.
Like
Yeah,
you
people
would see
will get
Marner
Marners.
jerseys.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
There'd
yeah.
be buzz here. There'd be excitement. Absolutely. And I do think that stuff PR, like I do think it does matter. It does matter. I think this team is in desperate need of some positive PR.
And you're gonna let like what the Anaheim Ducks? I don't think he's going to San Jose. Like,
Oh,
they've been
but if
talking.
he does, if Marner does sign in San Jose, then that's an absolute failure.
That's a kick in the teeth.
Yeah,
That's a kick in the
yeah.
teeth.
Like there'll be certain teams where it's like, okay, I don't really care if he goes there, but if he goes to like a competitor like the Ducks or the Sharks, that's not good.
You're gonna wonder what the difference is between, like why not us? Like why choose San Jose? Like what was it for you?
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
Was it the dollar amount? If it's the dollar amount, like
I think a lot of probably pressure too. There's less pressure playing at those California markets first. That's the Hawks are another original six market. Toronto, nothing's like Toronto. Like nothing's even close to that in terms of pressure. But he definitely wouldn't be escaping that here in Chicago. Yeah.
yeah, you'd have CHR on him.
Yeah, right. Yeah, we'd be. That's probably say we give him that contract. Yeah, I'm going to be on that guy like a horse every night. Yeah.
Well, because he would be expected to elevate the group a large degree.
Yeah. 1,000%. I think he could. I think he could. Like, say what you will about Mitch, his playoff woes and things like that. Like, there's a lot of, the talent he has is undeniable. And I think, he could play a big part in helping, take this team to the next step. So, but yeah, I just, unfortunately, like, I've just started to cool off a bit where it's like, I'm just not seeing that type of, like, connection to him that maybe we were seeing, like, a month or so ago. I know at one point, like, when the Leafs were initially eliminated, I think the betting odds were, I think, in the Hawks' favor. But, like, since then, just reading up on him and from all these insiders and stuff, it just seems like the Hawks are they're wishy-washy. Like, it's half measures. They just don't seem committed to Mitch at this point.
And it's unfortunate.
It is. Like, honestly, I would go in on Mitch. I would. I know, say what you will about him, like I said. But it's like people talk about Mitch. All they do is talk about, there's playoffs. But it's like this Hawks team isn't. We're not a playoff team right now. So that's a later issue, right? You got to get to the playoffs. And I've said it before. Like a lot of these players, those problems go away if they're new teams. So not a guarantee, obviously, but I just think the impact he could have on these young guys like Bedsy, Nazar, etc. Like for me, trumps any concerns about playoffs. I don't know. Yeah.
Okay, Evander Kane moved this morning to the Vancouver Canucks from the Edmonton Oilers. The price is a 4th-round pick, and Vancouver gets a hometown guy. What did you say? Somebody said swapping Besser for... I don't know.
Yeah.
Swapping Besser for Kane is quite the downgrade.
Yeah, that's yikes. I would say Evander Kane is definitely... that just works. Like that visualization. Like he's definitely a Vancouver Canucks player. I think he'll fit in perfectly in the room there.
And I think we were talking about it earlier with the Buffalo Sabres. Teams falling down off a cliff. Vancouver's right there too. I feel bad for Quinn Hughes.
The Canucks are all drama, and Evander Kane, like that works there in Vancouver. That's the team of drama. So, I think that'll be fun to watch next year. And I think the Oilers are probably just happy to move on and. Hopefully less, penalties in the playoffs for them next year. Free up some cap space as well. So, good on them.
More cap space to sign Phil Kershaw.
Only cost a 4th rounder. So, right, exactly.
Yeah.
Or go after your boy Reichel, right?
Hey,
so,
whoa.
I think good move for the Oilers and for the Canucks. It's yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't really know what the play is from the Canucks here. I don't really know how much problems Evander Kane's going to be solving there. I think that team's kind of in shambles. And that's Quinn Hughes is going to be a guy where there's going to be, I think this upcoming year, there's going to be a lot of talk around him. And does he commit to Vancouver? I mean, it just seems like it's inevitable if there's going to be a falling out there. It's happened with pretty much everybody, pretty much every core member of that team. So, Pedersen probably something, we'll see what happens with him too. But yeah, that franchise is just in absolute shambles right now. And I find it really funny just seeing where they're at right now. And their fans will still convince themselves that that's a place where Bedsy want to go to.
Delusion. Absolute delusion.
Because, it's just they're in shambles right now.
Utter woke nonsense.
Yeah,
Utter
exactly.
woke nonsense.
Yes.
But honestly, now that you guys are talking about Quinn Hughes and the fact that he might not be happy there, where would you send him?
Devils.
Oh,
I was gonna say
Devils to play with his brothers. Did you see the
course.
video of the Bauer post on the YouTube? It was Patrick Kane. He was like discussing like equipment stereotypes with the Hughes brothers. He was like fathered them. It was really fun. They all looked up to him when they were growing up, so I thought that was pretty cool. But maybe he joins them one day. I don't know.
I was looking up old draft interviews as I was last night. 2018.
The Hawks really want him.
Yeah, the Hawks did really want him. They did the behind the scenes series, and they went into his interview. And Quinn Hughes is like, yeah, Patrick Kane, that's my guy. We shared a locker, or we sat next to each other in the locker room at the IHF Worlds that season, and he was like, yeah, get me to Chicago.
Yeah, Vancouver just had to screw us over there, and we got Adam Boquist as our consolation prize. That worked out really well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I would love to see it, honestly. Like, I mean, 3 Hughes on a team,
Yeah,
like
that'd be
that would be a really, really fun thing to watch. And I honestly kind of felt bad. I'm like, everybody talks about Jack and Quinn. Like, I mean, like, what are we gonna do? Like, get all 3 of them on a team.
Yes.
I want to see it. I really want to see it. And it's just like, please, that would be really, really, really fun.
Yeah, people do forget about Luke. Patrick Kane kept calling him Lukey in the YouTube video, which was kind of funny. He clearly has a good relationship with those guys. So, I think it'd be good for the game of hockey, too. I mean, those 3 are on the cover, the Shell cover, last year. Clearly, there's been a lot of marketing around them. And the Hughes brothers are popular for, a variety of reasons, not just being good at hockey. I'll leave it at that. But, I think it'd be good for the game of hockey for sure.
The trio.
So then do we start the Patrick Kane in New Jersey rumors, or?
Kane with the Devils. That's an interesting one.
Yeah.
With the Hughes brothers, I actually wouldn't hate that.
I wouldn't hate it at all.
That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm not a huge Devils guy, but I do like the idea of what that could be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and I
for
have
sure.
and I have a feeling that the Devils are like, they're kind of hit or miss when it comes to the playoffs. Like, they make it
but
sometimes.
Quinn will put them over the top.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Like,
that's exactly what they.
Yeah.
They'd
Kaner
be
would
a
put them
cup
over the
contender,
top.
Quinn Hughes.
Yeah,
1,000%.
They make it sometimes. They don't make it sometimes. But they're a really, really, really fun team to watch too. So.
Not to bring up vibes talk, but the vibes always seem pretty high there. Which
of
that
course.
seems to be what's most important in NHL is like how much vibes do you have? How much fun are you having? Right?
Exactly.
It's just like looking at the Sharks last year. They were having so much fun, but yet they finished in last.
It's not about
again.
winning. They finished last place. They were having fun
It's
while
all
they
about
did
fun.
it. They got the participation trophies, and that's what really matters. Yeah.
It's like a team could be good and not have any vibe, and that's just like not fun
That's just not a
hockey to
successful team.
watch. It's not fun hockey to watch.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, the media ate up Macklin and Will Smith last year. I mean, like, you couldn't help but kind of look at the Sharks and be like, oh wow, they actually are kind of having fun down there, even though they're like a horrible team essentially. Like, it's refreshing to see like the people make the most out of a bad situation, and I feel like there are certain hockey players out there who could learn from that. Not to name names or anything.
You're a fan of okay. Yeah.
Not to name names or anything, but I mean, it's kind of embracing the suck. Like, just kind of like have fun. You're there for a reason, and especially like, I mean, I guess it's different with vets and like rooks, but like, I mean, it's hockey. You should love the sport regardless of anything. So, and to see that, especially in the youth, is really, really refreshing. They're not getting on their high horse just yet. They're like, all right, I'm starting from the bottom, got to be on the bottom for a little bit, but like have a positive outlook on what's to come.
Fair. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm more of a in the trenches type of guy. Like I respect actually Betsy's like seriousness and outlook, like the
Oh
Mamba
no,
mentality.
I loved
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
I loved it for him. Yeah, like I mean,
But I see your point.
exactly.
Yeah,
Like I mean, what it was Macklin and Will's like
It's all
first year,
perceptions and stuff
exactly.
too, like media perceptions, and I think the Sharks have done a better job of like selling that. Whereas like
Yeah.
the Hawks, I don't think they've done a good enough job like promoting like this youth movement that they have in these young players, and I think that feeds into a lot of people's perceptions. It's just what they're seeing like in front of the cameras, and they're not really seeing that behind the scenes thing. So I think a lot of
I will say on this point, I did really appreciate it towards the end of the year during like TV timeouts, they would have certain prospects that they would have on the video board.
That was good. The prospect
that was
series,
good.
social media. I like that.
They had guys like Sasha Boisvert, they had guys like Roman
Lardis,
Kanserov,
Kanserov, exactly.
Nick Lardis, Jack Pridham. I mean, I just thought it was so cool watching all that, and I think the Hawks should do more of that to promote their youth movement.
They should. They have a good prospect pool. They should be promoting it.
Yeah.
Switching gears here, I say one more Hawks dance.
Wait. I have one last Evander Kane note. He is the last. Did Zach Bogosian play in the NHL this season?
If he did, it wasn't much. It would have been.
I'm gonna look it
depth.
up.
I'll look it up. You can continue your point.
Last Atlanta Thrasher left in the National Hockey League.
Is that right?
Wow.
Yeah. Yep.
That's crazy, man. What a legendary.
I think Bogosian did play this season. So
He
and then
did.
Blake
Yeah,
Wheeler-
Bogosian did play. Yeah, he played. Speaking of Atlanta, do you see the NHL board meeting? Guys are meeting up today to discuss the potential Atlanta expansion. We kind of talk about it a little bit, but it definitely seems like there's some smoke there.
Yeah. That would be cool. Evander Kane has said that he would go back to Atlanta to finish his career, which would be cool.
He liked it there?
Yeah.
I think it was just his, what was it, just his first 2 years, I think, right? Because I think his debut season was 09-10, so he played 2 years, and then it was the Jets, and then his career went after he traded the Sabres, went from there. But, I'd love to see I hope if they did return to Atlanta, I've said it before, but I do hope it would be the Thrashers branding and all that stuff.
That'd be really cool, yeah.
Yeah, they couldn't do the Flames because Calgary now, so, that'd be fun.
Yeah, I saw Raven last week with a Atlanta Thrashers shirt, and I'm like, I could really use this in the NHL again.
That works. Did you guys see Luke Richardson was hired by the Nashville Predators as an assistant coach?
Oh, yeah.
Former Blackhawks coach there. He'll be under Andrew Burnett, Blackhawks legend Andrew Burnett, the Predators staff there. So we'll see how it works out. Good to see him land on his feet. I think he's probably better off in an assistant role.
Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly.
He's a smart hockey mind, just didn't really work in a head coaching spot here. So, wishing the best, and we'll see if he's able to help that Preds team kind of, get smoothly through that retool, rebuild they're kind of undergoing right now. See if his defensive style meshes with that team. Yeah. But no, good for him. Good to see that jawline back behind the benches there. Yeah, the Luke Richardson jawline.
Oh yeah.
Always looked like a mob boss behind the bench.
No, for real though. Especially like with the way he did his hair too. Like
He's got some aura about him, I'm not gonna lie. Like
I remember what was it, the 2022 rookie camp. I ended up going down, and I was sitting along the glass at Fifth Third in the lobby, and I saw Luke Richardson come back towards the locker room, and I mean, you could see that jawline coming from a mile away. I was honestly a little bit terrified looking at him because he is a physically imposing guy.
Yeah, he is. I will shamelessly self-promote here. I did put out an article about Luke Richardson getting hired there by the Predators. I've been starting to write more recently for the Sporting News. You could find my name there, Justin Lynch. You'll find my articles there. So I just wanted to shamelessly self-promote there. And
yes, please
I'll
go
be
check
doing
it
that on
out.
the side. So,
yes.
Yeah, appreciate your support
very educational and informative.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Click on Justin's articles and scroll through them, please.
Yeah, it's per click. I won't say but you can infer per click would be very helpful. Thank you.
Yeah.
And that's all I gotta say about that. Yeah.
I have a game.
Ooh.
So
time to play the game.
I want to. Oh, Raven has a sound effect, maybe. Oh, record scratch. Yeah, I have a game to play. But should we switch up the seating arrangement a little bit so that
Natalie, if you would like to come over here to have the mic, or
I
would say you can go over
to
here
have the mic.
and
Here,
I don't really
Yeah,
need
yeah,
the mic,
cool.
so yeah, that works.
Cool.
What's the game?
I will say it. It is fake hockey names versus real hockey names.
Ooh. I've seen that before.
Here we go.
Oh, I think this game is made for me. I know the most obscure NHL players.
Oh, there
is
you
this
go.
all time or just current? All time. Okay.
All time. There we go.
It is all time. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Let me pull this up. So yes, we are playing fake NHL player or real NHL player.
Ooh. Do you know puck? Question mark.
Yeah, we'll see. Who knows the most puck?
Okay. We're going to start right at the top. Alf Skinner.
Alf Skinner?
Alf Skinner.
ALF. Alf Skinner.
Well, I know a Jeff Skinner. I know a Stuart Skinner. I don't know any Alf Skinners.
Long lost.
Do you think Alf Skinner played with the Edmonton Oilers this year or no?
No. Was there a third Skinner out there? I didn't notice. I'm going to say that's... I don't know. It actually kind of sounds like a real guy.
I don't know. It just sounds like some
1950s
1950s original
some
6
guy,
guy.
90s guy.
I'll start. I'll go fake.
Yeah, I'm gonna say fake too.
Alf Skinner was a real NHL player.
No, I was
No.
going
Alf
No.
Skinner was a real NHL player.
Is there any
Do we
relation?
have any stats on him?
No. We can maybe Raven can be looking up who these guys played for and maybe some stats or anything. But Alf Skinner was a real national hockey leader.
So nobody got that.
Canadian ice hockey player. He lived from 1896 to 1961.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, no, not in our lifetimes.
I don't feel that bad
All
now.
right. Rusty Crawford.
Yes, that sounds like a real guy. Well, Rusty Crawford. There's a lot of Crawfords in hockey, but Rusty, that's an odd one.
Do we
Rusty
think
Crawford.
that Tassos is going to try and trick us here and go back to back real though?
Oh, this is a game of
I'm
strategy.
gonna say this guy's
too.
real. That sounds like a real guy to me. Rusty Crawford.
You know what? Fake it till you make it. I'll go fake.
I'm gonna say real.
Rusty Crawford was a real NHL
Oh,
player.
come on. Let's go.
He is in the Hockey Hall of Fame of 1963.
Who did he play for? Anybody?
Who do you play for, Ramon?
Played for Quebec Bulldogs, Ottawa Senators, Toronto Arenas, Saskatoon Crescents, Calgary Tigers, and the Vancouver
He
Maroons.
was quite a player to watch. I mean, look at his tape. He was quite something.
Yeah,
All right.
definitely.
Buzz Bowl.
Fake.
Buzz Bowl.
BUZZBOLL.
I know Jared Bowl.
That could be
There
real,
hasn't been
but
any
I'm
fake
gonna
guys
say
yet.
I'm gonna say fake, just solely
Fake.
because of that.
Fake.
All right. Yeah. Again, I'll go fake.
Fake news.
Fake.
You guys are bad at this. Buzz Bowl was a real
No
NHL
Are you
player.
kidding me? Guys, I think they're all real.
They're not. I won't.
0 for 3 Man, this is looking
Played
like
for
my
the-
test in high school.
Played for the
One
Maple
for three.
Leafs.
Played for the Maple
Oh.
Leafs. Buzz
Of course.
Of course, Tassos knows about that. Then
All right. Archie Delvecchio.
Well, Delvecchio, I know Alex
Backyard-
Delvecchio. I don't know Archie Delvecchio.
I just think of backyard
No,
baseball.
That name
All right.
is familiar, though. That last name. That I know. Alex, I think that guy just mentioned references all famous.
Here's my thoughts on this. I think because Delvecchio was a Red Wing, correct?
He's
Alex
going for
Delvecchio?
Archie
He's going for
DeBrincat.
Archie
So
DeBrincat.
it's on the
I'm
Archie
calling you
DeBrincat.
out on your
It's real.
BS, Tassos.
This is
I'm
gotta
calling
be,
you out.
This guy's got to be fake.
I got to be right at some point, right?
Archie Delvecchio was not a real NHL player.
yeah, exactly.
All right,
I'm
we all got that
thinking.
right.
Put me on the
He
board.
combined Archie. That's hilarious.
Well, yeah, and
Yeah.
Delvecchio. I mean, come on,
You
like
can't get anything past me now.
All right. Baldy Northcott.
Baldy Northcott.
Northcott.
Okay, that's just ridiculous.
That's
There's no way that's a
utter
real
nonsense.
name.
That has
that's
to
an
be
AI,
fake.
like I don't know.
That has to be.
That's like a
fake.
fake. You know, like in show when you're playing franchise mode, eventually you start getting like fake players towards the end of it. That's like
Yeah.
a fake guy, like an NPC guy out there.
A fake guy from
That's fake.
out
Fake.
of nowhere,
It
like
has to be
Estonia or
fake.
something like that.
Yeah, no, fake.
Baldy Northcott was a real NHL player. Yeah.
What?
His real name was Lawrence, but he went by Baldy.
Ah, if you said Lawrence, I would have.
See?
Yeah, you
No,
tricked
that's
us.
what he's tricking us here.
You gotta say the real name.
According to NHL.com, his name was Baldy. According to
Baldy.
NHL.com.
That's like a Nick Baldy.
He went by Baldy. His just
Most
birth
people like
name
went
was,
by
Nicknames,
whatever
yeah.
All
nickname
right,
they were
all
given.
right.
You know.
All right.
It's just like baseball back
All
then.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know about that one.
All right. No, come on. Frankie Fitzwhistle.
Frankie
Fitzwhistle.
I think Entwistle, Fitzwhistle, Frankie, like Frankie. This sounds like a guy that he'd be fake.
Yeah. I'll say fake too.
Frankie Fitzwhistle is fake.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There we
fake.
go.
Okay,
All
good.
right,
We
all
got
right.
that one.
All right,
I
the
could
morale
tell.
is
I
up
could
a
tell.
little bit.
You could kind of tell when it's okay. I think I got it now. I got the meta.
Wilf Cood.
Wilf Coo?
Cood.
Cood. Wilf Cood.
Wilf Cood.
Sure, he's real. Wilf Cood.
Wilf Cood is real.
I didn't guess real yet.
I'll
Yeah,
take
Yeah,
I'll take
yeah,
the
that's,
gamble
that's,
and say real
that's
too.
too
yeah.
random to even think of to be a fake guy. Yeah.
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 Raimy Skilton.
Rainy Skilton?
Raimy. RAYMIE Skilton.
Riley Stillman, Rainey Skilton.
Ramey Skilton.
I'm thinking like players' names who sound like that. If there's a player has a similar name, that's probably a fake guy.
Ramey Skilton is real.
He is real.
Oh.
He played in the NHL.
Okay.
He played one game in.
Come on.
And what year? What year was that?
One game.
Let's see.
Oh, that's malarkey.
Playing career.
One game.
That's insane.
1917. He was one.
1917. 100 years ago played
He
one
was
game.
offered a single $1 to get on the ice for this team.
Utter woke
Can I
nonsense.
ask how much research you put into this, Tassos?
Pretty much zero.
Okay.
That's crazy.
Canadians. All right.
Tugboat O'Halloran.
That's definitely a real
That
guy.
has to be real.
That's real.
Tugboat O'Halloran.
That's
Wait,
fake.
O'Halloran.
That's fake.
Ah, come on.
I just thought of it afterward. That's
All right, we'll do a couple more. Bill Beveridge.
Bill Beveridge.
Beverage.
Yeah, I'm gonna need a beverage after this.
This is gonna make you
terrible
think it's
performance.
fake. I'm gonna say he's real.
Bill Beveridge is real.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was a trick there. Yeah, I could tell he was real.
Dick Duff.
He's real. Dick
He's
Duff.
real, yeah.
Yep.
Dick Duff is real.
Dick Buckus.
Let's see. Gordy Malone.
That's real.
That's real, yeah.
It's a fake. It's fake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gordy Malone. That just sounds like an NHL. You're
Yeah.
probably combining Gordy, Hal, Malone. There's like so many Malone NHL players.
Yeah.
I see what he did there.
Have we done Hamby Shore?
Hamby
we have
Shore.
not, but I believe he's fake.
That's gotta be fake.
jeez. Oh.
Hamby Shore. Hamby.
Is he related to Eddie Shore? Hamby Shore?
You know what? I'll be the
Or
odd
Shoresy?
one out.
Devin Shore?
I'll be
Yeah.
the
Devin, is he a
embarrassment and
Shoresy
say
guy?
it's
Is that a
real.
Shoresy
I'll
guy?
say it's real.
Hamby Shore is a real NHL player.
Ah, let's go. We are so back.
Set the tone.
God, I'm awful at this.
Yeah, I'm not good either.
Chicky LaRue.
Chicky LaRue.
Oh wait, that sounds.
I'm
That
gonna
sounds
say that's
fake.
real.
I'm gonna
That
say
sounds
that's.
fake.
I'm gonna say it's real.
It's fake.
Bang! Yes.
All right. Two more. Sweeney Shriner.
Sweeney
Sweeney
Shriner?
Shriner.
What the hell?
SWEENEYSCHRINER. Sweeney Shriner.
No idea. I'll say he's.
I'll say real.
Sure.
Yeah,
Real.
he was real.
Okay.
He was real.
Yeah.
He's real for that.
Last one, Fern
So
Majot.
real.
Sorry?
What?
Fern Majot.
Fern?
Fern.
Fern.
Like the plant.
Fern the show.
Fern.
What are
I
these
feel like that
names?
if it is real, that has to be another nickname because nobody would name their kid Fern.
Yeah,
and if
that's gotta be.
maybe
There's no way somebody
maybe
named-
there is
maybe if it's a
somebody
big
named
plant
Fern.
enthusiast, like, your name's Fern.
I'll go real.
Fern Majot was real.
What?
And is that his actual name, Fern?
There's
Raven?
no.
Fern Majot. We got.
Let's see here.
We'll get him. I mean, this was fun. I'm gonna just read some of these names. Babe Dye.
He's real.
He is
He's
real.
real.
Yeah, and I know
I'm
Babe
reading
Dye.
some of the real ones. Heck Heighton. We did Art Chapman. Naming a guy
He's real.
Art. Yeah. But like the fact that we used to name people Art.
Can you
I guess-
imagine that?
Yeah, I mean it's
Yeah.
short for Arthur. You know?
I get art is subjective, but it's just weird to name somebody Art.
Art. But that's a cool name.
Yeah.
Like just to be
Art.
named Art.
Oh, you think that's
Yeah,
cool?
no,
I think that's so cool. You don't
No,
think
that's
it's cool?
nails.
Well,
That's
art
nails.
is like art. Like that's its own thing. I wouldn't name somebody Art.
What do you got?
2 years with the Montreal Canadiens.
Fern Majot? Yeah. Yeah. Fern. That's a crazy name.
And whenever somebody says art, I think of that one dog from Webkins, like when you were trying to get the gems.
Oh.
Yeah, it was
okay.
his was it was like the art whatever shop, and I'm like, okay, like I just immediately think of that, like
Yeah.
Webkins, man, what a time.
The art of the deal.
There you go, yeah, pull up art for
Oh,
us.
okay.
Oh,
There we go.
yeah,
Yeah, I got
art.
the
Now we got a
reference
visual on
now.
that.
Okay.
There's art,
Ah.
man. Me and my boy. That was like the only thing that I would do on Webkins was like do the gemstone thing.
Oh.
It was so fun for no reason.
Yeah.
A very famous Art Ross.
Art
Yeah.
Ross.
Yeah.
The Art
Yeah.
Ross trophy.
Can we
yeah.
so we were talking about this yesterday. You know how many games Art Ross played in the NHL?
Not many.
3.
Yeah.
Wow.
So why is the what's the
he
story
an
there for
executive?
the
I
art?
don't know. He played
Must
in
be
the
more of a builder or
precursor to
something.
the NHL, the NHA. He played 131 games in the NHA.
Oh.
He had 74 points. Hardly, the Art Ross winner of the
NHA
NHA.
clears the NBA.
Yeah, and then 1 goal in 3 games in the NHL in 1917-18. So the fact that I don't know why we don't just call it the Wayne Gretzky Trophy, but
because nobody's gonna ever break that.
Exactly.
So. Yeah, I think it should be named after more like legendary players. Like I love the Rocky Richard trophy because like Maurice Richard, right? Like I think there should be more trophies like named after like recognizable legends.
Yeah.
Not just like 1900s guys that nobody knows. I don't know.
A little bit of Art Ross, the actual person history. He was the first general manager of the Boston Bruins.
Interesting.
Boston Bruins came out with new jerseys today.
Really?
Yes, they did.
So the new logo
Yes, they
branding.
did.
Speaking of new branding, how about the Red Wings new branding for their centennial season? Looks pretty
I
sick.
like that. I can't wait to see what they do for a uniform. Hopefully, it's more like the 2009 Winter Classic rather than the disasters that they had for the reverse retros.
Oh.
Hawk style memes in the chat. God, I love the PK88 haircut from the Hawks. Thank you, Hawk style
The
legend.
sty.
Yeah.
Unmatched.
Thank you for the style compliments. I appreciate that. Also, the Blues, I think they released new branding as well.
Yes.
Theirs are pretty sick, like a little old school look
Yeah,
there
it was
with the
nice.
note and the colors. I did a big fan of that, I will say.
Real nice.
Yeah. So
Clean.
Art Ross played defense.
really.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Wait. So we have the trophy for the most points in the NHL is named after a player who is a defenseman.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
That's interesting.
That's a
Crazy.
new one.
Yeah.
So in 1947, he and his two sons donated the Art Ross Trophy to be awarded to the leading scorer. Yeah, Art Ross. Aside from his hockey career, Ross was interested in improving the game. Before the start of the 27-28 season, the NHL adopted a new style of goal net created by Ross. With the back molded into a B shape, it was better designed to catch pucks, and the net was used until 1984, when a modified version was adopted. He also improved the design of the puck. His design had bevel edges, which prevented it from bouncing too much, and used synthetic rubber rather than the natural rubber previously in vogue. That's pretty interesting. He also helped put in the red line too, which was taken out
Interesting.
in
That's
2006.
quite the lore there, eh? Yeah.
Yeah. Dropping lore
There's
left
Art
and
Ross
right
talk
on
for you.
CHR.
Art Ross. I was trying to find out if he was like problematic at all before giving him his flowers. I was trying to look. I can't.
A lot
find,
of those guys you don't know, man. Yeah, there might be some hidden lore
yeah,
there.
it
for a
doesn't
lot of
seem
those
like
guys.
he was like a Harold Ballard type. You know.
Yeah, fair enough. Oh, there's a lot of lore there. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a lot of
Yeah.
racism.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yikes.
Feels bad, man.
All right. Well, that was a fun game. Yeah.
I
I
enjoyed
like
it.
these little
I
games
really
we're playing.
enjoyed
I
it.
like that. Yeah.
I hated getting my ass kicked in it, but
Who won? I don't even know who.
No, there was.
Did I
there-
win?
It had to have been you.
we all have
I
participation
win.
trophies.
Yeah.
I never lose.
I asked AI to come up with the fake names.
Oh.
ChatGPT.
Corky Blevins is crazy.
Quirky.
I can't believe you guys thought Tugboat O'Halloran was real.
Hey, listen, you never know.
I just like the name so much. I wanted to think he was real. Yeah.
You never know.
You guys see Brad Pitt look-alike Matt Martin retired?
Oh yeah,
I did see that. Yes.
Yeah, shout out to the Islanders legend there, the fourth line enforcer. You don't see a lot of players like him anymore. So
The identity line. Him,
yeah.
Zizekas, and
Clutterbuck.
that's
Yep.
right, the
Buttercup.
identity line. Yeah, Kale Clutterbuck, Matt Martin, Casey Zizekas. Man, what a time, man. What
Those
a
guys
line.
were good, man.
Yeah, the Islanders had some good teams. Yeah, they never really reached the top, but they're a pesky group under Martin. What was it, 15, 16 years, something like that?
Yeah.
Long career for a guy, you know. He didn't have the most skill in the world, but he always carved out a role. Man.
Hopefully that means that they take Grinder Brady Martin first overall in celebration.
Yeah,
of
they
that?
don't need they don't need
not?
to take Schaefer or Misa, right? Yeah. They should take the hometown boy, James Hagens, right? I think that would be the move.
That would be crazy.
Yeah.
That would be insane.
Yeah, for sure. And one more no.
Oh, Matt Martin couldn't have told you that he played 32 games for the New York Islanders this season.
Yeah, I didn't really
2
notice.
assists in 32 games. Could not have told you
Yeah,
that.
he was a veteran presence, to quote Shorzy. He was just a guy in the locker room to mold the team, and not really for his on ice, more for his off ice intangibles.
Great
things
He
like
sets
locker
the
room
tone.
guy.
He sets the tone.
Yeah,
Second.
he
Exactly.
sets the tone.
Yes.
Second in NHL history with 3,936 hits behind Cal Clutterbuck, but that's like an asterisk thing.
They probably
because
weren't always tracking that. Yeah.
But this one is impressive. Led the NHL in hits in 5 straight seasons from
Wow.
2011 to 2016. That's legitimate.
Brian
That-
Matt
you can be
Martin was
like,
quite he was a pest to play against. Definitely a guy you didn't want to face off against, for
Well,
sure.
you guys know who the new active hit leader is now, right?
In the NHL?
Yeah.
Is it that Kiefer Sherwood guy?
No, it is not.
Oh.
No,
It
all,
was,
all time.
all time.
All time. Okay.
All-time
Oh.
career active leader
And hits?
in hits.
And hits.
Oh, I have to think about that. That's a tough one.
I don't know.
It is Alexander Ovechkin.
Wow.
Raven!
Raven
Way
with
to go,
the
Chat
pull.
GPT.
Raven with the
Holy-
pull.
I
That's
just
so
remember
rock star.
seeing the stat like at some point in the season that after he got the goal record, he was like less than 100 away from all-time hits record.
I think it's more like 250 to 300.
Oh, I mean,
Maybe like amongst modern players,
And
maybe.
I think
he was
actively.
the I know he's the closest.
That's what's
to
so
breaking
cool about
it.
Alex
Yeah.
Ovechkin, right? Not only the fact that he can put the puck and then he's that talented, but like he's that much of a pest too, and much of a physical specimen. Russian machine don't break.
The Snipe
Yeah.
Forcer.
That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah, the Russian vodka is powerful.
What a guy.
Russian gas,
What
yeah.
a guy.
The Russian slopes.
All right, you guys got anything else today?
No, did we mention that the Rangers sent the Pens their 12th pick from this year as a condition of the JT Miller trade? They're keeping their 2026 first. I don't know if we mentioned that. I think you called that one on Monday.
I did talk about that on Monday. Now looking back at it, I don't know if I want to.
How
walk
does that
back my
affect your
take.
NFL draft proposal?
Yeah, I
there?
know, right? It
Yeah.
only helps it, but I think it only, I don't think it's gonna happen.
Yeah, but probably smart moves. I think next year's draft's probably gonna be better. So
I just wanted it for the fireworks. That'd be so cool.
yeah, no.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll see some movement on Friday. We'll have
Yeah.
plenty more time to preview the draft on the Friday show. That'll be an absolute cinema day, and
gonna
look
be
out for a draft
exciting.
post today. Yeah.
Very exciting stuff.
Sources out of Pittsburgh telling me Utah is very interested in Brian Rust. Just something, a little bit of CHR.
The
You
mammoth.
know. That was. I hope my source isn't watching right now.
Yeah,
Rust for four?
Brian
Question
Rust will move the needle there in Utah. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, just I'm hearing that there's some stuff out there
Known
involving
source,
the Penguins.
Tassos
and-
Kirkos.
There's some
well,
movement.
I'm not my own source,
Right.
no. But yeah.
Source, dude, trust me.
No, I'm not Nolan pulling stuff from
Whoa,
source.
whoa,
source,
whoa, 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 whoa,
source.
whoa,
Guy
whoa,
with 35
From
followers on
Betsy
Twitter.
Birder 69.
All right.
Relax.
Cool. Yeah. Thanks to everybody for sticking around. We don't say this a lot on the show. Usually we don't normally ask you guys, but hit the thumbs up right now in this video. It helps everybody it helps others see this and it helps push it out. And, we don't normally mention it on the live shows. We do it for the live streams, but we might start doing it on the shows here just because, it helps us out a lot, guys. And, you guys are great. We're only 4 shows left and
Wow.
2 live streams and then that's it. And then it's summer content the rest of the way. And then we will see you back September 8th. So
Summer CHR, we will be cooking and sizzling content over the
Oh,
offseason.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
if the Blackhawks cook, then we will be in turn forced to cook ourselves too. Maybe.
Of
Yeah, we'll be back
course.
in the kitchen.
I would have counted that. I think Davidson's going to be hibernating in his cave all off season, but
Yeah.
we'll see. Hopefully he'll work some magic.
I would be happy to do an emergency pod.
Right,
Yeah,
of course,
absolutely.
yeah.
Of course.
Well,
Yeah.
if the Hawks gave us something worth doing an emergency pod for, that would be I would happily do
As
it.
long as it's not while I'm on vacation in late July, I'm happy to do it. Yeah.
Yeah. Cook
That's,
for us,
that's what's going to
Kyle.
happen, right? Yeah,
As long
for
as it's
sure.
not when it's
Something-
super inconvenient for me.
Yeah,
specifically.
exactly. Yeah. Precisely. Yeah.
Random Monday at 3 a.m. Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, actually. Everybody get up now. Something is happening. Everybody, I don't care what you're doing, drop everything. This just happened and we need to get on.
Right.
That's how it's gonna be. That is how it's gonna be. 3 a.m, alarms blaring. Like
It's gonna be like that clip of the guys going into the prison and waking up the prisoner. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah.
Wake up. I love that meme.
absolute cinema.
Get up.
Absolute cinema only here at CHR.
Yeah.
Also, middle of week 2 for you two,
Yeah.
our newest members. So I'm glad we're getting you in the mix.
Yeah,
too.
we're happy to
been
have
great.
you too. I hope you feel.
I'm actually in front of the camera instead of behind the camera, so this is
Wow.
How does that feel?
definitely an experience.
Yeah.
An experience
Yeah.
of all time.
No, you
One
did
of
well.
the experiences of all time.
Yeah, no, we're happy to have both of you and hope you two feel welcomed. And we're just happy to have you aboard the crew
Aw, I'm
Yeah.
so happy to be here.
for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, everybody. Peace out.
Bye.